And we're live.
I'm just gonna open chat.
Same.
Here we are. Alright. Cool. All good.
Big thank you to Halsey for making this background. Look
It's
how
really
cute.
pretty. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me add everyone on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, my laptop will die soon.
What, battery, or is it just like shit?
I think both, but specifically it's the
Hey,
battery.
Herm is here.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome. Oh, it's even giving me a warning. There's a little red battery that just popped up on screen.
Oh my god, do you not have it plugged in?
It's upstairs. The plug is upstairs, and I didn't want to
Remember
go.
when... Go and get the... Remember when we were fighting Ceaseless Discharge and your controller ran out of charge?
I still won, though, right?
Eventually.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sylvanite. I'm blue today. I don't know. It just I just decided I'd be blue, so it's like blue, and blue. Let's bring my a little closer. Hair is a mess. Back there. I need a haircut urgently.
Hello?
Hi, how was your arduous trek upstairs?
It was so complicated because when I came back, I was sitting down and I hit my foot on something. Yeah. How's everyone going? Hi, King.
Hey.
Sylvanite.
We have a Russian in the chat.
Dratute. I don't know what that means. Is this hello?
Shouldn't you know?
Well, it might. Doesn't have to be like Russian, you know?
Oh, it's just Cyrillic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Da. Okay.
Da.
We should have a podcast in Russian. Richie, I'll tell you what to say. I'll send you like a script, and you just have to read it out, and we can pretend like you speak Russian.
Da.
Exactly like this. How's everyone doing? What's new? Oh, look, you want to see my mug? A coworker.
Do I?
A coworker from my old job gave it to me.
Aww.
And it says, wait, before I spill it, it says, "Trust me, I'm a ninja." Yeah, she saw it and she was like, "Oh my god, that's so yo."
I've got my "Trust me, I'm a doctor of philosophy" mug still. I don't know where it is though.
Remember, it's not washable.
Yeah. I should point. We need to point this out to people.
Yeah.
When I when I successfully defended my PhD thesis, I was awarded, along with the certification itself, a mug that says, "Trust me, I'm a doctor of philosophy." I told my supervisor of this, and she responded that, yes, it's actually quite offensive as it implies we're not real doctors. Also, you can't put it through the dishwasher or the thing comes off. Now,
Oh.
now, completely unlike the high quality Sinclair Law merchandise you can purchase from Redbubble that is entirely dishwasher safe.
It's true, Richie. I sent you 2 Abruitus mugs, I think. 1 or 2.
Yeah, I have an Abruitus and a Bell Bruitus.
Yeah, and I told you that
and a little slug who cannot lie.
Oh, really? I forgot. Okay. Yeah. I sent you a lot of mugs.
You do.
I was thinking of sending you another one, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Where is Richie gonna put them?
Well, I've got room.
Okay. Hi, Johnny.
Thank you, Johnny. There's a little something I threw together.
Okay, Richie, I have to tell you something. I usually say this, and it's like half true. So today, no, it's what? It's kind of going to be half true again, but it's mostly true.
So 51% true.
I'd say it's like 80% true. But today is the first time, day, week, in like 3+ years that I don't have anything to edit and I can take a break.
Oh.
It's all been edited.
Yeah.
The deadlines have been met. The only thing is that I am... Even the Reborn thing is edited. It's technically edited, and I already uploaded it on YouTube just to make sure, because it's like 5 hours long. But I'm like, I can look through it again and just add a little edits here and there. That's the 20% lie. But mostly, I don't have anything to edit, and it's so weird.
Wow.
I feel like... It's like, I don't know. I feel like there's too much time in a day. Also, nice cake. Maybe I should pick up baking.
Yeah. You want to?
We should have a baking stream.
You want?
Yeah.
I'm down.
Tyler is asking happy birthday. It's not that simple, Tyler.
Yeah, Sin and I are joined at the soul. It's a complicated...
Yeah. Basically, our birthdays are March 29 and April 9th. And for that period of time, we're the same age.
Yeah.
So we have to start our birthdays a little earlier, because that's a very special period. So our birthday week that's why it's starting now.
So it's going to be our birthday for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not a birthday week, that's a birthday.
That's why it says weeks. On this AMA it says birthday weeks.
Alright, fine. Why not just go further and say it's a whole month?
Because a month is 4 weeks.
Hence go further.
Birthday year. Johnny's like, it's been great seeing this long distance relationship blossom. Aww. I'm not
Jake's the first time they've seen you without your Unabomber get up on.
Jake, do you know what that tells me, Jake? You do not come...
This is her true form.
No, Jake, you are not a cultist. You do not come to Sin-only streams. Jake is only here for Richie. That's what this tells me. Because I stream without my Unabomber uniform. I have been for 3 years since before Richie joined. What do you have to say for yourself, Jake? Jake is like, why do I even bother leaving a comment? Why do I encourage these people if this is how they talk to me? A cat? Jake is like, I'm sorry, Sin, I am ashamed. Hello, kitten.
Hello.
So cute.
She can see herself on the camera, and she's like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Souls at 0. It's our birthday weeks, so we gotta look fashionable, but also I'm slowly being reintegrated back into work. So I have to start looking like a human being again, unfortunately.
I thought you were saying I'm slowly being reintegrated back into society.
No, don't go that far, not yet. Curfew has been pushed back to like 9:30.
Yeah.
So, you know. But they also say Wave 3 is here.
Good. I'm fucking murdered this cat. I'm gonna kill you.
Oh, man, Richie. Richie, didn't I teach... If I taught you anything, didn't I teach you not to ever admit murder in any form that can be reproduced? Not even as a joke? Because they can convict you with that.
Yeah, okay. If Ingrid's ever murdered,
gonna have to edit it out.
Which is highly unlikely.
Can we get a Aloha shirt soon during the summer? Yeah, why not?
Do it. Yeah, I think he'd look great in like a Hawaiian shirt and a pair of giant sunglasses.
Oh my god, yes, and a straw hat.
You did it again.
Oh. Ark is talking like a true enabler. Thank you, Corey. Well, technically it's birthday weeks. Happy birthday weeks. Also, before we start with the questions, has everyone seen our latest Vampire the Masquerade thing? This could go on for hours.
Alright.
Usually my boyfriend just leaves the room at some point. But you guys can't leave. You're stuck here.
Ipsy's seen it.
Dante's asking what's the cat's name?
Ingrid.
Ingrid. Yeah, so I'm gonna post Vampire the Masquerade in the chat. And everyone can watch it later.
Ingrid. She is an Ingrid, but she's also Ingrid.
Okay. And it's very good. We did very good job. We were very, very like... I don't know. I really liked it. I was impressed with us. I thought it was a lot worse than what it actually ended up being. So I was very impressed. Okay, so the questions. What we do is every week, or when I remember, on Patreon I make a thread asking people what questions they have. And then we answer them on an AMA. So the first question is by Danny D. How much of a nightmare would first-person Bloodborne VR be?
Well, Sin, you know that I brought this up once and you cut me off mid-sentence and started yelling at me.
Go ahead.
You know, you'll notice in a lot of the Bloodborne up-close footage, that is in first person. And that is because I did play through a lot of the game in first person to get that footage, including boss fights. And I started explaining this to you, and you went, "Oh, dude, look at me, Richard. I beat the best in first person. I'm so good at game." And so I didn't really want to bring it up again without consulting you first. It's pretty hard. You can't lock on in first person.
I think it would be awesome. You don't need to lock on in first awesome. You have your sword. First awesome, first person. You have your swords, right? Or whatever. I don't have VR. Do you have swords? I saw people with sticks. You have sticks. You have your headset, right? And you have Bloodborne. And you just gotta swing them. Swing and parry, swing and parry. That's all you gotta do. That's first person VR. It's gonna be super easy. It's gonna be super fun.
So it's your idea is Skyward Sword, basically.
Did I just predict Skyward Sword?
Maybe.
I don't know what that is, but I'll say yes.
Hi, Harvey's here.
Harvey, hi! Yeah, so I think it would be awesome, and I think they need to take away the stamina, because the only stamina is, like, your own. Like, how prepared are you for this? And they should put in more enemies.
Okay.
No worry, Danny. It would be awesome. I hope they make this happen.
Johnny asked if we've met in person or are we trying to. We've never met in person. We've never even been in the same hemisphere.
I don't know if it's the best time to plan and meet each other.
Yeah, this is not a good time to do anything like that. But one day. One day.
Definitely.
One day.
You know what it's gonna be like? We're gonna have like this big falling out. And then because I watched it in the Toys That Made Us, or the whatever that made us, these creators had this big falling out. They didn't see each other for like 20 years, and then they reunited. It was beautiful.
Which one was that?
I think it's Ninja Turtles. I think it was Ninja Turtles.
Eastman and Laird. Yeah.
It was just so sad.
Yeah. I forgot to people like you look paler than normal. I have been HD remastered. This is a new webcam.
Yeah, Richie got a new webcam.
I finally have a new webcam that is a little bit more than $10, by which I mean it was $200, but it's good. You can see me properly. I'm not constantly going in and out of focus. My face doesn't randomly get weird shadows across it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really, really good.
It's really good. Remember, first time I used it, I sent screenshots to everyone, and they were like, "Wow, it's like a real camera."
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The second question is by Bob Witz. Are you going back to work? Is lockdown over? That's a reference to something I said earlier, but basically I'm going back to work little by little for certain things that need to be done in the office.
Yeah.
Herb says, another DS3 deep questions. Why are the deep accursed fluffy spiders when the merkmen are bones, seaweed, and shells? I'm trying to right, yeah, it's the spider near the lever, right?
Yeah.
And the other one in the room. Okay, yeah. And then Herb continues, have the merkmen been eaten by the insects from Dory's gnawing? A lot of characters to remember in one sentence.
Doris is one character.
No, but like fucking bully. Let's see. Let us count. Deep accursed, fluffy spiders, merkmen, seaweed and shell, merkmen, Dory. Like at least this many.
Counting merkmen more than once.
At least this many. Were the spiders a repurposed asset? I don't know.
Yes. This is one of the problems. Seriously, with these discussions, is like, because when people ask like, why is something a certain way, it's almost hard to answer. It's hard to know on what level you're supposed to answer it, because the reason that a lot of the stuff around the Deep and Aldrich and everything is inconsistent is because it is literally all repurposed assets that were for some other thing, and they're just like, fuck it. Now it's Aldrich. Those spiders were for God's grave, I can tell you that. We've talked about this. Like, God's grave is something we've talked about before. Some people don't follow it closely, but basically there was a completely removed area from Dark Souls 3 that was called God's grave. Everything from this point onwards is a big probably that's based on a lot of circumstantial evidence, but we don't really have like a smoking gun necessarily that proves it. But basically, God's grave was going to be an area that was underneath Lothric. And it would basically have been what the Ringed City ended up being. It would be this place where the Dark Soul was buried. And a lot of when it was cut, it was either just assets were directly recycled into the Ringed City, or the concepts were done over for the Ringed City. And the spiders were an enemy for that. They are supposed to be like Dark Soul eating insect things like the locust creatures are in the DLC, where there's like the locusts coming out of the swamp. It was similar to that, but it was the spider things.
Sorry, Richie, I was a little distracted because Tutu said, Sin, you said hi everyone on the announcement channel. I didn't post the link to the MA. Because usually I tap out like, hi everyone, we're doing an AMA, blah blah blah, hope to see you there, and link. And I've been very tired. It's been a very tiring
You
week.
have, yeah, no, it's okay.
It's been a very tiring year, like everyone.
Yeah,
So I
already
feel like,
it's only March. It's been a very tiring year.
yeah, this is gonna happen more and more often. Expect this.
Yeah.
But it's cute. People are so sweet. I just said hi everyone, but then people replied with like emotions, like waves, like yes and hi.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sorry. So did you answer? You did.
Oh yeah.
Was it
there's a question...
Oh, go ahead. I
was gonna say, yeah, it's a repurposed asset. So like,
okay.
This is what I mean when we talk about this stuff. It's not like there's a like, oh, we'll crack the code. Like Miyazaki left us a series of clues, and when we decode them, everything will make sense. That's never going to happen with something like the Deeper Curse, because it is literally just a repurposed asset that makes very little sense in the context it's in now. It's sort of like they look like that because it's meant to be like Aldrich people who ate so much they turned into a monster. Like, it's fine, but when you start getting into the little specifics of the design and everything, it doesn't really. It sort of starts to break down conceptually because it was not meant to be that thing. So this is a question from Eugenio, who is involved in a lot of Dark Souls 3 hacking and data mining, and he's saying, can you comment on Valahart? So, Sin, do you remember what Valahart is for the benefit of anyone watching, or do I need to go into what Valahart is? Okay, sorry, my hair clips fall.
What's Valahart?
Okay, Valahart is it's a weapon shield combination from Ashes of Ariandel. You know, when you kill the Gravetender Great Wolf, you get a thing called Valahart, and it's a shield sword combination. You can't equip them separately.
Yeah.
Right, and it's got got a lion on it, and its weapon art is a thing that's like the roar of the lion.
Okay.
Right. So hold that in your mind for a second. Now, you'll remember that when you summon Albert, the summon for...
Who's Albert? Refresh my memory.
That's what I'm getting at. The guy you summon him for Vortidur. He's like the first summon in the game. He's right before Vortidur.
I'll be honest, I don't remember, but I understand. Okay,
Yeah, so the point is, his name is Lion Knight Albert.
Okay.
So we've got, like, Lion's Roar, Lion Knight. Yeah. So Eugenio has been data mining Dark Souls 3 along with some other people, and they have found there is a ton of lion motif stuff for Lothric that was cut.
Makes sense.
So it looks like the idea of the lion as a symbol was initially a much bigger deal. And it was connected to Lothric. There were lions all over the Consumed King's Garden. There were lions all over the castle. There were like a symbol of Lothric was the lion.
Interesting.
And Valahart seems like it's left over from that.
Okay.
In the same way that, again, Gravetender Great Wolf, we were talking about things being cut and repurposed. Gravetender Great Wolf, that's the old Abyss Watchers fight.
Right.
Where there was one Abyss Watcher, and then phase 2 was the wolf joins in the fight. And then in the end that became there's a whole lot of Abyss Watchers and the wolf does nothing. And then they just remade it for the DLC, basically.
Do you think what happened was basically the wolf had a role, and then the wolf and Miyazaki just didn't agree, and the wolf became really passive-aggressive and didn't do the role right? So they're like, fine, you're going to be sleeping in the corner. And the wolf's like, fine.
Yeah.
Happens.
They had to reshoot all the wolf scenes.
Yeah.
It's like, and so that's why you get the wolf from that, like the one angle where it's lying in the tower, because it's like from a far away angle.
Yeah.
Well, that's where they had that, but then for all the actual close up interaction with the wolf, it's a different wolf.
Yeah.
Which is an Ashes of Ariandel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question. This is from Bear. It's like, are you okay with leaps of interpretation that don't consistently work if they make for interesting thematic readings?
Are you okay for what? Sorry.
Are you okay if like people? How do you feel about people who like come up with interpretations of the story and stuff that don't really hang together logically and aren't really supported by what's in them, but like thematically it's interesting?
Have you heard of Ludwig killed Maria?
What's the theme there, though?
Ludwig is evil.
I feel like the notion of Ludwig as evil is a reading that is quite well supported by the text as it is now. I don't think we need to bring in sort of like additional interpretations and paratextual.
So you're saying I'm right? Ludwig is evil.
Yes.
And he did kill Maria.
Well, you can't say. This is actually a response. This is in part a response to a comment that I think has now been deleted. That I got this morning, and I got genuinely very annoyed at reading it because it was all this stuff that was like, it's the usual sort of like Reddit level argument that amounts to sort of, I've discovered that you can't prove a negative. Therefore, I'm just going to say like, anything goes, so you must be wrong, essentially. Like, you can actually do this. And I got really irritated by it because it wasn't like I'm mad because you're looking at this a different way than me. It's like the way that you're looking at this is just like there's no thematic consistency. You don't view the game as about anything. You view it as just like a random assortment of things that you then smack, like it's like sticking a bunch of square pegs into round holes all day to come up with like analysis of it that's just like, you know, you can't like. What was the thing? It was like they were annoyed that I was saying that the big squid-headed guys were guarding the church, right? Because it doesn't actually literally say anywhere in the game, okay, the squid-headed guys are guarding the church. But like, they're wearing the church uniform. They were explicitly armed by the church. They're standing in front of the church, and they're stopping people getting into the church. So, I think they're probably guarding the church. Even though it doesn't say it. But like, the important thing I was getting at there is like, I don't care if like that doesn't hold together, really, because I mean that's another thing where it's like this clearly repurposed asset that makes no sense. But like, the point is like that there is a very obvious thematic through line in Bloodborne, especially in the DLC, where there is this constant evocation of like of what memory is and what it means to like shut out the outside, what it means to be insular, all of this stuff. That's constantly throughout the game. And like to just say like, well, that what you said doesn't. I don't care what you just said because what I care about is just like this like Pat theory real. What is the truth behind blah blah blah? That's just like, well, who fucking cares though? I guess like I'm not being very coherent, but like we've talked about this. Okay, I'll loop around back to what I mean. One thing that like we've talked about a lot here, and I have been criticized for, is that I talk about cut stuff too much. And I talk about, like, there are holes in the plot that were caused by them yanking parts of the story out and putting them back together again. And consequently, like, from a completely logical, like, perspective, from a narrative structure perspective, there's holes in the story. There's things that don't quite work. But what they did do is that all the changes they made, I think, made it thematically stronger. Because it looks like a good example is the Healing Church's outsiders. The Healing Church are not outsiders until literally like, I think about 6 months before the retail build. Prior to that, they're just a Yharnam organization. This leads to all kinds of weird inconsistencies like, wow, this organization of outsiders seems to like, the city also seems to be built around them, which is weird. And that's what led to, like, when the game came out, a lot of people just assumed, well, the Healing Church must be part of Yharnam from the beginning because, like, everything seems to be built around them. And, like, it does lead to that as like, a logical sort of, like, gap. or things like the Red Moon over Yharnam, like when the fuck did that happen? Like Gurman and the Doll, what? But like, if you break them down like we do, you start to notice none of these things actually properly connect. But what they did do is those changes really made it thematically stronger. Like the notion of the Healing Church as outsiders who are welcomed into a xenophobic place because like they possess sort of like they're basically like the Simpsons monorail episode. They're basically, it's this city that's like, we hate everyone who isn't like us because our blood is pure. And then a bunch of outsiders show up with the pure blood and like, oh, come in, please come in. And then they're just willing to like suspend all of their principles to allow these people because they're so desperate to get at that blood. And in doing so, like I talked about this in the last episode, but like what happens there is that because they're so desperate to get at the pure blood, like as a physical thing, like physically, what is physically pure blood? It's like an object. Like we have to have this because they're so obsessed with that. Everything that actually stands for, like the history of the city and the history of the culture and everything that actually really matters about Yharnam, kind of gets pushed to the wayside in favor of just getting the purity that's in the blood. And that is so much more interesting thematically than just like this town has a creepy church because they used to be vampires, which is what the original one was. So that's sort of what I mean. That like, and like that's so-called kind of like Lawrence as a character is added really late. Gurman as a character is added really late. Maria as a character basically doesn't exist. But all those things, like when we talk about like why this is affecting people and why it hits them, it's like the story of Maria. It's like Lawrence's hubris, all that stuff, and that wasn't there. And they added it, and that makes it so much stronger. But in the way, because they added it in kind of a haphazard way, it means there's a lot of little like narrative inconsistencies. But yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like I always thought, you have to look in Bloodborne. You have to look at the big picture, and not a lot, but some things are not gonna make sense. They're not gonna add up, and it's fine. It's a video game. It went through a process. Like not everything's gonna be perfect. Just like, and I really actually like cut content and stuff like that, just to see like how things were changed, how it was made. You've never seen like the toys that made us or the movies that made us? Have you?
I saw the first 3 of the toys that made us.
So you know how they talk about all the things that happen behind the scenes? That's like really, really interesting. And,
but again, like the other reason that's important is going back to the question about the deeper curse, is that if this happened to me when I first played Dark Souls 3, is that I assumed, oh, this must all like they've thought this through. It all makes sense. So I was sitting there up and like, what the hell is this thing? How does this connect to this thing? How does this connect to this thing? And ultimately, like, just realizing that no, the deeper curse was an enemy for another area and they moved it is like this enormous weight off my shoulders. Because it's like,
definitely.
I don't have it doesn't matter. Good. I thought I was missing something. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And that's another thing why when we started doing our podcast, sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. Yeah, when we like, because I really, really love Bloodborne, but again, some things were just not adding up. You cleared up when we started doing the podcast. You cleared up a lot of things that, this actually makes sense if you look at it. Like, in Japanese, for example, the translation's a little different, makes a little more sense. Or like, I always wondered, like I still remember, I was like, Richie, why is Mikalash praying to Kaz but using Ebrietas as weapons? Like, shouldn't he be using Kaz weapons? It's bothering me. And you're like, well, have I got news for you? So all these things sort of make it all more like, it does feel like a weight off your shoulders because you're so like, you like something so much, you want to understand it. And you end up understanding, like, there's nothing wrong with doing last minute changes. Like, okay, it's not going to all add up. It's fine. It's still a good game. It's still good lore. Yay. I have another question here from Vong. So I know everyone is excited about Elden Ring, but what setting, if any, would you like FromSoft to do that isn't gothic, medieval, or high-tech military fantasy?
Sin, what would you like?
If it's not gothic, medieval, or high-tech military fantasy? Well, I think there's only one thing left. Take it away, Richie.
Reborn.
Country roads, but Reborn actually works. Oh my god.
I thought you were going to say Reborn.
No, Fallout. Let's do Fallout.
We already have Fallout.
Elden Ring Fallout. Fallout Ring.
Well, Elden Ring looks like it's mostly in a desert full of burning things. So.
Elden Ring New Vegas.
Okay.
Country roads.
Yeah, Dankmoon suggesting Cyberpunk. I'd also like Cyberpunk as well. Like, because the original Armored Core, I know they said like no high tech military fantasy, but like the Armored Core's world, like at least the first one's reasonably low tech, and the implied world is like kind of really interesting, where it's this like underground cyberpunk dystopia, kind of like Midgar and FF7, but without any sort of like nice things happening at all. Like it's there, but there's like no. It's that sort of like grimy underground slum thing, but there's no nice characters. It is just like, you know, homeless people are just being like massacred. If anyone tries to like when workers strike, they just get killed by scabs. Like, there's missions in that game where you're hired by companies to murder their own employees, because if they're murdered, they don't have to pay severance pay.
Yeah.
Like those are actual missions in the first Armored Core. It's like stuff like that's really interesting, but like because everything in that game is from the perspective of like a 2-story high robot, you sort of get a pulled back view of it, and I think that's kind of like something like that, like really like cyberpunk, but not too high tech, like sort of because like Armored Core is very influenced aesthetically, at least the first one, by Pat Labor, and like Pat Labor is something that the point of that was like, what would it actually be like if we had robots doing stuff for us? And everything, but like, what are the social implications? What problems would they cause? How would the world sort of bend around them? So if you watch Pat Labor, like I remember I watched it a lot as a teenager because it was sold as like robot cops. But then you'd watch it and it was like an Asimov like robot story, like a detective series about like trying to uncover sort of like flaws in programming and things like that, which is much more interesting than it was sort of sold as in the West. But like, yeah, something like that.
Cool. Thank you, Richie. The next question is by Karl Marx.
Oh, hi.
Did you know Karl Marx is a patron?
I did.
Okay. So, the main character's name in Bloodborne, what is it?
John Bloodborne.
John Bloodborne.
John Bloodborne.
Was I not right about Sekiro? Richie laughed at me.
John Sekiro.
Richie laughed, and I was right.
Yeah. So, you know what this means?
What?
Elden Ring. You're John Elden Ring.
Yeah, you're our Elden Ring.
Yeah. And when they're like, "Oh, Elden Ring" at the start, that's what you hear when you die in the game. It's like snake, but it's "Oh, Elden Ring."
Harvey's like, Karl Marx is seizing the means of production. Thank you, Harvey. Doom Kitty has a question.
Thank you, Doom Kitty.
Garbage tier grab bag questions. You're welcome. Okay. What's your favorite ancient civilization and why?
Do you want to go?
Like in Bloodborne, or?
I guess they didn't specify. You could go Bloodborne if you wanted.
I mean,
there's only really 2 though.
Bloodborne's ancient Greece seems pretty cool.
Which one's that?
It's the one that Yusefka knows about.
Oh, because of the Hippocratic Oath.
Because of the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you?
In Bloodborne or real life?
Whatever.
I do like ancient Mesopotamia a lot. There's no funny point to that. I just do. I have a lot of books on ancient Mesopotamia in my bookshelf, and I would like to see if that were a setting in a From game. That would be awesome. It won't be, but
maybe Elden Ring. I never know.
Yeah, there's Shadowfangs, who enters art contests sometimes. He's working on a game, and he was looking for like Bronze Age civilization stuff, and I was like, I got you covered, and I just sent like this giant mess of like, look at this really cool Assyrian crossbow, stuff like that.
They're cute.
Yeah, yeah.
General says, "Seize the means of blood administration." Oh, cute. What's your favorite alien race in fiction?
Sin, what is your favorite alien race in fiction?
I mean, I like Alien. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
They have like acid blood. I like Predator. They're pretty cool too because they just like hunt people, collect their spines. I didn't like.
Yeah.
You know what? I was disappointed that last Predator movie, where the really big Predator shows up.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that movie had so much potential, but it was so bad. Like,
Can I reveal something terrible to you?
Go ahead.
The only Predator movie I have seen is Alien versus Predator. I have not seen any of the others.
That's okay. That's like a guilty pleasure. It's, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last one was even worse than that. And I was sad because I'm like this. Because you can tell, like, oh, they're trying to do something funny. They're, like, little jokes that aren't landing, and it's just badly, the cinematography is bad. And it's just, the story is like, but you can tell that there's effort in it. But, so, yeah. Let's see, another alien. The thing that takes over Event Horizon is pretty cool. Just like hell, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you count that as an alien race, though, or just, like, hell?
Well, we don't know, right? It could just be, like, something. It could be hell, but it could also be something. That...
You remember we talked about a movie called Supernova at one point?
Let me...
Because I remember Supernova was before Event Horizon, I think. And the initial plot of Supernova was literally the plot of Event Horizon. That's like, we invented a warp drive. And then when we used it to travel through to warp across the universe, we accidentally ended up in hell.
There's a Supernova 2020? Is that the one?
I
don't know. I've seen a lot of movies that are like space where things happen, so I can't place it, but I feel like, you know, like Contact and The Deep or whatever, something, and there's a couple. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I have more. I just can't like think of them on the spot because I really like sci-fi movies and horror movies and horror sci-fi.
Yeah.
So there's more in games.
Yeah.
I guess
Star Wars.
Star Wars has a lot of interesting. I'm so stupid.
Star Wars has a very specific.
Oh my god! I'm so dumb. How did I?
God.
Oh my god, Richie. Oh my god, how did I not?
Muggins forgot the obvious answer.
How did my mind not go straight to this?
Maybe you don't think of Baby Yoda as an alien because
he's my child.
Just like, oh, I love him. Yeah.
So soft.
Yeah.
They also have apparently a Chewbacca version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're expensive. My family gave it to me.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Baby Yoda.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Richie.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, Richie.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello, Baby Yoda. I still haven't watched The Mandalorian.
Oh my god, Richie, get a life. Watch it. Okay, I'm gonna.
Look. You want to?
I'm not even listening to you right now. I have no headphones on.
Okay. I'll bring this up while Sin's not here. Not only have I not watched The Mandalorian, I watched the 4-hour cut of Justice League twice. Hi, Sin.
Hi, Richie. Do you have any alien races? Did you answer that?
My whole brain is just going through a whole lot of 1970s Doctor Who trying to pick one. There's so many. They're all so cute. Yeah.
Alright. We should have a podcast on our favorite alien races.
There's there's so many.
Looks like we have a new podcast. Let me pick out the copyright-free music.
Okay, we go through every single alien in
every single fiction ever created on planet Earth.
We can go through all 58 years of Doctor Who.
Not Doctor Who, no. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Sin. I'm sorry. That's the only thing I know. I don't even like it that much, but I know it.
Is this my Reborn purgatory?
No, because you like Reborn more than I just watched it a lot.
Why don't we talk about alien races that we actually like? Doctor Who was good for like 2 seasons.
Yeah, 1980.
No,
and
like the first couple in the new one. With the Tenant.
Beautiful Baronet Tutu mentions the Chumblies.
What is that?
So the Chumblies were when the Daleks in Doctor Who, the rights to the Daleks are owned by the guy who made them. The BBC don't own them. Mm-hmm. So it was a period where the BBC lost the rights to the Daleks while he tried to make them their own thing. But they had to come up with a replacement, so they came up with the Chumblies. So I will create a Chumbly using objects found on my desk.
Johnny says E.T. will always
This is
be
a
my
Chumbly.
home.
A Chumbly was basically a small dome that
So they had lower production values than us.
There was also the Mechanoids that were a Dalek replacement that were just like a sphere with a little stick that came out the front.
Richie.
And of course, Doctor Who comic, they had the Trods that were just the Daleks but without the domes on them.
Hmm. But Richie, Johnny says E.T. is their favorite, and we've actually had E.T. on the podcast. I don't know if Johnny.
Well, I mean, we had E.T. I don't think E.T. was very happy with some of the reviews. I believe E.T. sued us to prevent most of that from getting out. That he.
And then
he hasn't. The problem. E.T. has not been in work for a while. He's typical. Sad situation. He's like he had it. He was big about 30 years ago. He's got a ton of money, no real work since, and he's kind of So when he comes on, he's not great.
He's not his best self. Nina says my favorite alien race is whatever a Brutus is. 20 million points for Nina. Wow, amazing. Johnny
I should have worn the Abruitus clip because I'm blue today. I forgot.
Yeah. Johnny says E.T. still sends me drunken text from time to time. So Johnny knows our E.T. Oh my god, can you imagine? Did you ever think, making your channel 6 years ago, as GSF, that one day somebody will say that E.T. sends them drunk text as a reference to something you said?
No, I would never have imagined something that beautiful would happen. If... Part of the reason I quit is because I didn't think anything like this would ever happen. This is what I wanted to be doing the whole time, and I was stuck being a more long-winded version of Vardy.
Do you two have a plan to play... Do you two have a plan for another game to play on stream after Dishonored?
I wasn't playing Dishonored.
Well, we're one person, so they can't tell the difference.
Okay. That's true. That's true. People do think we look alike,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Well, you are the best Slav, so.
We have vaguely similar hair.
Well, I straightened it.
Yeah.
So it's... But the color isn't the same.
I'll try curling mine so we look different.
Oh. We still look different because yours is darker.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I could really stream anything, I just don't.
It's just... Well, it's been a little tiring.
I have a lot of things I can stream.
You could, yeah.
Done it.
Maybe we were thinking of making these AMAs like 1 week we stream something, 1 week is AMA. You know, like Final Fantasy side by side. Remember?
Yeah,
that's
which is that's soon.
Yeah.
When's that gonna happen?
I don't know. Okay, we just gotta. This is Richie. Let me tell you. Okay, let me do Richie. Okay. Oh, Sid, we're running out of content. And me, no, Richie, we're not running out of content. As a matter of fact, we have too much content. No! And now we have not finished Enemies of Bloodborne. We did about 60 of them. We're not done. We have not finished Locations of Bloodborne. We didn't even start Doors of Bloodborne. There are podcasts I want to do. I want to do like actual good stuff like the courts. Like there's a lot to say, a lot of good stuff, the courts. I want to do another one on the moons. A lot to say about the moons. There was another one we already have planned. Fudge, what is it? It's in my notes, but another... was it story? Because we have more in-depth information. Maybe another story of Bloodborne?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and then we have to do It Can't Be Helped. We have to do more cryptids. Have you been reading up on the cryptid I sent you? I have been.
I don't even know what it is.
You do, because I sent it to you.
I wasn't paying attention.
So we have, and then we gotta stream Final Fantasy side by side. We have to stream friggin' Demon Souls side by side. That was never finished. We have, the Dark Souls 2. I wanted to do that too. There's so many things we need to do. There's no time. And Richie goes, oh, we have already got a content. And it's very frustrating.
Looking after.
Yes, little baby Richie. It's very frustrating because every time.
We are running out of content. Oh no! What will I do?
Yes. Oh, we're not even. Are we gonna mention that we've been trying to do another iHunt run for a month now, but the scheduling never works out?
Yeah.
That's another thing. We're gonna do another Vampire the Masquerade that we have to schedule. We were invited on a podcast to talk about Gundam. I actually finished it.
Yeah.
With my boyfriend yesterday, we watched the entire 13 episodes.
Yeah. You've also forgotten that we were asked on another podcast to discuss Transformers.
Oh my god. I'll be honest, I didn't even...
Yeah.
So, no, we have nothing to do. And we have jobs, and we have cats to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
And we have baby Yodas. We have nothing to do.
You do. I don't have baby Yoda.
We have nothing to do, no content to discuss.
I have the garbage disposal pig from the Flintstones.
Oh my god, I love it. It's so cute. I always thought it was very funny.
Yeah.
They gave their trash
There was
to
a
the
question
pig.
in the chat that I think we skipped over.
Yes.
That was about why is Adidas so popular in former Soviet states?
I don't know. It just is. I don't know the logistics of maybe it was imported when other things weren't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just is. Yeah. Okay. You could Google it. Google probably. Hey Google.
This is pay for Patreon questions.
Google.
The answer: Google it.
Hey Google. Why is Adidas so popular in the Union?
What were you doing?
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that. Here are other things you can try.
Hey Google, why is Adidas so popular in the Soviet Union?
On the website Quora.com, they say, in the 80s, Adidas sportswear gained popularity in the USSR thanks to the Olympics in Moscow and the Olympics in Seoul. The clothes of the Soviet team were made by this company.
The Olympics. There we go. Thank you, Google. Usually she tells me like, "Oh, you're welcome," but she's not having a good day. Okay. So, Rorik has a question. By the way, Rorik is the same person, and we haven't done a Saturday Night Snack Covenant in so long. They made the background, the
Oh yeah.
the logo for Saturday Night Snack Covenant.
Yeah, and you can see it's Ingrid's in it.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Yeah.
So Rorik has a question. If Sin played Warhammer, what army would you play?
Well, Sin doesn't. Do you know what's really?
You have to tell. You have to say.
I can tell you, and it's sad.
Okay.
There was a Slav army, and they don't make them anymore.
A Slav army.
There was it was an army.
It.
It was called Kislev. It was not specifically a specific country. It was this mixture of like Poland and like Russia and all this stuff. And the leader was a guy riding a bear, and his name was Boris.
Oh my god!
Because what happened with what happened with Warhammer was right. Warhammer used the fantasy one used to have a whole lot of stuff that was just based essentially 1-to-1 on real historical armies, right? Because Warhammer kind of has its roots in historical stuff with fantasy stuff added on, and so consequently they had a Slavic like army. There was a mixture of like Slavic looking dudes, but also people riding bears, and this like ice queen lady who could for the snow queen. And then what happened was, about 5 years ago, they rebooted the setting.
Okay.
And what they've done is they've tried to cut out as much historical stuff as possible.
Why?
Well, they haven't explicitly said this, but it's fairly clear that they did that because people were just buying actual historical models that sell for about a tenth of what Warhammer 1s do and using those.
Mm-hmm.
So Slavs are all gone, but there was a Slav army, Kislev.
That's so
And
sad.
I think there's diehards out there who I'm sure would let you still play with Kislev if you were able to get some Kislev stuff together. That's really expensive now.
Oh wow.
I think in Warhammer 40k you would play Tyranids because they just eat all the time. They're driven by.
Wow, amazing. That's good to know. Yeah. That was very specific thing.
Yeah.
Another thing we have to do is play Warhammer. But we have no content. We have no content. We have no you know what, this channel is literally dead. We're not here right now. I'm not even gonna bring up the fact that Reborn has like 5 more seasons. No, according to Richie,
I don't want to deal with the fact Reborn has 5 more seasons.
Oh, speaking of which, next there might be a double premiere coming up if someone, one of us, I'm not gonna point fingers, if somebody manages to do a Bloodborne up close before a certain date, then it's gonna be released in compilation with the Reborn thing.
Yeah.
If not, it's just
true,
gonna be
true,
Reborn.
Harvey, I did kill the channel. Oh yeah. Arky points out that they also had sort of like modern Soviet troops in the futuristic one.
Oh, nice.
Called the Valhallan Iceborne. Hang on, what were they called? There was some more kind of like Battle of Stalingrad ones, but I forget what they were called. There was the Kasakin. I get confused. There's too many Imperial Guard regiments to keep track of. Sorry, Astra Militarum, because you can't copyright the term Imperial Guard.
Fudge. You're a nerd. I can't. I cannot with you. I had a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been just more me screaming at you for saying that we have no content when we're actually we have no time.
If anything, okay, yeah, that's what we have no time. That's the problem. We have too much content and no time.
What you need to do is quit all your jobs and move to Canada. We have
the
one
problem
extra.
is I work online. I could actually just move.
There we go. We have, because in our tiny house we have one tiny little guest room.
There's a problem. There's a problem.
You're gonna have to be minimalistic.
There's a global pandemic, and I don't have any money.
You're gonna have to sneak out. Oh man. Yeah.
Altair, who we were talking about before, she's moving to the US from Italy in a
that's
couple
cool.
of months. So,
That's
I
very
mean, you
cute.
can do it.
No, you
Yeah.
can. Like, of course you can. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know these things. Okay, I think Sin. I'd think dwarfs for Sin because of the book of Grudges. What's that?
Okay, so in Warhammer, the dwarves have a big book, and every time anyone upsets them, they write their name in there. So there's this huge book
cute.
It's like exactly like something you would do.
I don't keep a book. I keep it in my mind.
Yeah. The issue is they rebooted the dwarves because the dwarves they had just looked like Lord of the Rings dwarves. So they were using everyone. So now the dwarves are weird like steampunk things with like gas bags on their back that float around.
Let me see Warhammer dwarves.
It's a bit weird. No, Sin, I'm sorry, but you can't copyright the word dwarf, so they're now called the Steamhead Duardin.
The fuck? Really? I don't even know if you're joking.
I'm not joking. They're called the Duardin, and then the faction is called the Steamhead Duardin.
Oh,
I think you can still get some of the old dwarf models, but they're sort of gradually phasing them out.
Jesus God. Okay, so I love the Book of Grudges though. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Warhammer seems like
there used to be a thing you could do with the dwarves in Warhammer where before the battle you had a chance to discover that like the enemy had at some point wronged you, and you had to like roll and this. Oh, looks like they are in the Book of Grudges, and then you get a bonus when you were fighting.
Oh, looks like I love it. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
I played a dwarf in Warhammer. I still have him. This is a very old. This is like actually pretty valuable. Can't see. Yeah, that is an old Warhammer Chaos dwarf. They do not make these anymore, and they're like really, really. Even though this is like a really like mass-produced plastic thing, they're worth quite a bit. The Chaos ones. No, I'll make them anymore. Yes.
So we have another question from again Karl Marx, big fan of the podcast.
He's just been hanging around in that library, so clearly he's listening to us while he's doing his massive research project.
Okay. I just finished playing Dark Souls 3 for the first time.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Is the Usurp Flame ending not just the Dark Lord ending from Dark Souls 1, except you now have the flame instead of Snake Man? Also, is this basically the alternative ending they were trying to get in Dark Souls 2?
Okay, so there's two like dark endings in Dark Souls 3. One of them is the one where you let the flame die.
Right.
So the fire goes out and then it fades out and you hear the firekeeper go like, "I see them dance across the darkness," and that's the end. That is sort of analogous to the end of 1 where the fire goes out.
Yeah.
So but what Usurp the Flame is it's like it is something distinct. It is about you actually taking.
Well,
like,
let me correct you, Richie. There's also a version of the ending you just mentioned where you crush the firekeeper's head.
Yes.
Actually.
Yeah.
Unwatchable.
Thank you.
You're literally unlistenable.
I know I am.
How could you forget? I'm joking. Okay, go on. Yeah.
And then there's the Usurp the Flame is slightly different because the flame isn't actually going away. You've actually taken over it, which is but again, it's like who knows where this is supposed to go.
Yeah.
The thing is like the serpents all seem to be dead by the time of 3.
Oh, so I keep forgetting this thing because in English or in Japanese, it's more clear that they're either dead or alive. Remember, there was a whole thing.
Karth is like, as far as the game that we have now, Karth is dead definitively.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking hard content. Yeah.
Karth's definitively dead as of Dark Souls 3, but like, I think he was probably supposed to be in it. Because there's like references to him internally, and it doesn't.
Okay. And the Usurp the Flame ending is the one where you have to do this whole mission with Anri and the Yoel or whatever.
Yeah,
and the sigils.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, and you become the new Dark Lord. That's the one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It almost seems like the ending where you end the fire is kind of redundant. You could have just had like the keep the fire, link the flame, and usurp the flame.
Yeah.
But maybe the one where you don't link or usurp, but it's just a new age and. The problem is I'm trying to remember and it's been so long since Dark Souls. I'm sure it all makes sense if you ask someone who's competent.
Thank you for your money. But yeah, they are distinct because one is the flame going out forever, which is the ending of one, and then the usurp the flame is like the flame seems to stay there, but it goes black and white.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you still have the dark sign that's like burning, but it's become black and white. But it's like they never really build on it. You become the Dark Lord in both. Actually, I think what it is that in one you're like undead and a hollow, so you can do that, and I think what's going on with that ending is that because you've hollowed yourself, you can build on you can become the Dark Lord again in a way you couldn't before because you weren't hollow, you were unkindled.
Oh right, you're unkindled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Sin, what Sin? I've been wondering, what's an unkindled?
It's like, I think it's basically when you're like, you were a failure. You tried to link the flame and you failed, and now we call you unkindled. I don't know, maybe.
No one knows what unkindled is.
It's been many years since I played Dark Souls.
Hmm.
It's not. Also, like, the thing is, my love for Dark Souls comes from my love from Bloodborne. It's like, because I love Bloodborne so much that I played Dark Souls, and it's like, on its own, I would never get into Dark Souls. I'm not into dragons and knights. I'm not about that.
Yeah. Can I do your impression of Dark Souls?
Oh no, okay.
This is Sin's impression of Dark Souls.
I'm a knight.
Thank you.
That's alright.
Yeah.
So look forward to a lot of that when Elden Ring drops.
I think Elden Ring's gonna be good. I think Elden Ring is not gonna be about knights and dragons. I think it's gonna be...
Got bad news about the trailer that we saw.
It's an old trailer. They changed it. It's gonna be about more like mystical.
It's gonna be about the 7 strongest mafia babies.
Yes! 7 strongest mafia babies. So is everybody hyped? I finished editing, because what I did is that one night I had a vision. And I was like, you know how we, like, all the stuff we posted would be better as one giant episode about Reborn.
It was her vision.
And I went through it again and I cut out some parts because my editing skills have improved since 2 years ago when we first recorded Reborn.
Mine have gotten worse.
Oh no, nah.
As above and so below.
And so I'm gonna release soon a 5-hour episode of us discussing Reborn. It's gonna be beautiful.
That's good actually, because it means if that gets copyright flagged, it's just the one.
It's not gonna get copyright flagged. I think Marvel has just accidentally clicked us. Like, I think what happened, because sometimes from time to time people post a lot of Reborn illegally on YouTube. And I feel like our name was just similar. Like, they didn't notice the word podcast in it. And they just, like, click, 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 click. It's like... It made no sense, because we had, like, 30 episodes, and the one about the pervert doctor, they didn't like what we were saying about him. Like...
Certainly.
So it was just... Also, it's images. Like, calm down, Marvelous. So I think it was just, they went on a clicking spree.
Right.
Reborn Sinclair's cat. Reborn Snyder's cat. Yes. They didn't want you to let people know about the problematic aspects of Reborn. Yeah, Reborn does have, like, that doctor, he was always, like,
Is he still in it after the first
Yeah,
season?
he is.
Mm.
And you're always a little like, I don't,
Yeah.
I guess it's funny. Maybe he's going to jail soon. Oh.
Good.
Yeah. So, we have another question from Karl Marx. Big fan of the podcast. Where did Sin learn her project management skills, with which she runs the podcast so successfully? I feel like I have no management skills. I feel like I need to
You
improve.
fucking do.
I feel like I need to.
Like, this would be a sinking ship if you weren't keeping everything on track.
Yeah, I don't know.
I clearly can't run anything myself.
I've been looking for like some sort of management program, but I don't know. Then I was like a software or something. I'll need to look into it again. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I can put this on my CV. Successfully ran a Reborn podcast.
Okay, I'm not joking. This actually did get me a job.
I'm a saint.
This and the Bloodborne wiki together got me the job teaching
Slavs are saints.
teaching social media literacy, because they wanted examples of like, they just wanted people who knew how to handle like online communities and stuff. And this wasn't even on my resume. They were just talking to me, and they said, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, like I do this like YouTube thing. We have like a Discord and everything." And they're like, "Oh, do you do much of that?" Yeah. And there's also this like fairly comprehensive website that I like write stuff for and like network with people and everything. And they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, we really need someone to teach blah blah blah." So.
Oh, that's cool. That's
there you go.
Very cool. There we go. Yeah.
Because there's that annoying saying that's like, those who can't teach. But if you are in a vocational situation, they want to be very sure that only those who can teach. So they basically gave it to me because no one else in the department had any experience actually running like a channel or anything like that. Yeah.
Brava. It's good. It's good, yeah.
Thank you.
Daddy D has a question for Richie. Sorry. Cheers. Danny D has a question for Richie. Is Sega pronounced Sega or Sega in Australia?
Right. So,
Right.
if you in the 90s, it was absolutely pronounced Sega. They said Sega in their ads. They had their own TV show that said Sega. Everyone said Sega. And they now say Sega, but if you're like my age, around my age or older, you probably have a hangover of saying Sega.
Ah.
Like they had an amusement, like Sega had their own they had their own amusement parks called Sega World. That like I went to, there was one in Sydney, and I went there, and I always I regret not appreciating it more, because I didn't know how rare they were.
Aww.
And I didn't know that it was this a lot of people consider it this site of pilgrimage, and it's demolished. No, it's demolished now. It's completely gone.
Aww.
Yeah. So and I'm like, oh, if I'd known this was a really rare place and they were gonna tear it down, I would have spent more time there and documented it properly. But yeah, but that place, that was official, and that was called Sega World in all of the advertisements.
Sega.
When you go there, they'd say, "Welcome to Sega World," but it's Sega.
Why though?
What?
Why did you guys call it Sega?
Well, it's not a real word.
Okay, but why did Russians call it Sega, which is closer than
Because,
Sega?
but do you know what it means?
No.
SEGA. It's short for service games. It's not a word. So the pronunciation is just whatever you think it is.
But didn't you listen to other people pronounce it? Australia?
Well, no, it was the 90s. We weren't gonna go and we couldn't go just go to Japan or something, or there was no internet.
Did you guys have phones?
It was Sega.
Okay. Amiga.
Yeah. Darkstar Mike is like it's short for service games.
Yeah.
So, but like in the 90s, there was not like a global video game culture, so we just said whatever.
Couldn't you guys Google it?
Ha ha ha.
Do you want to know what's not ha 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 ha? So I was talking to Belle Brutus yesterday, and she was like, "Hey, can you give me Belle Brutus is 20 for reference." She's like, "Can you give me some like recommendations for some series that have like a lot of seasons? Because I'm usually just finished one." I'm like, "Oh, you know, you could try the X-Files." She's like, "What's that?" I lost it, and she was like, and I'm like, "I will talk shit about you for the rest of my life." She's like, "Oh, you're gonna talk shit about me on your podcast?" I'm like, "Yes, I will." Belle Brutus did not know what the X-Files were. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that I raised this great one. She don't even know what X-Files are.
Didn't we establish though that you can't remember a single episode of the X-Files?
You can't. I can. I remember all the episodes.
Okay.
There was one about vampires. There was one about a cult. There was one about aliens. There was one about where he tricked a guy because he took him to one house and then it turns out it was the wrong house and he's like, haha, I knew it, you're a fake.
I see.
There was one with Scully. There was one with Mulder. Then Scully disappeared for some reason.
She was pregnant.
Oh. I feel like...
Yeah. I remember that Mulder left the series because David Duchovny left the series.
Didn't he come back later or something?
No, I remember that they technically brought him back by having his like another actor show up as his twin brother. As his brother. So, but like when he came back, he'd been abducted by aliens and he was all disfigured, so they couldn't recognize him. And then they were like, "Well, the DNA shows it's Mulder." So there was this like brief thing. It's like, well, I guess Mulder's back, but he's played by another actor because aliens melted his face. And it turned out it's actually Mulder's brother. I don't think anyone was still watching at that point.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't. I think I stopped around the time where they abducted Scully or whatever. She's gone. She disappeared. Okay. Gordon has a question. A good one.
Okay. This minute's about Reborn.
Who would win in a fight? A Brutus or Nostradamus the vampire? Okay, they're both pretty like chill though. Like Nostradamus is very, very like happy, very positive.
Nostradamus is clearly a blood tinge build. And if you assume that Ebruitus has similar statistics to Ebruitus, then actually be quite vulnerable to just shooting like in the weak point with Evelyn if you're a blood tinge build.
So you think Nostradamus would win?
What's the conditions of... Well, aren't they both immortal? Because one is
a great one.
One, the other, like, presumably vampires just come back to life if you kill them, unless...
Not if you, like... Yeah,
with... Ebruitus state... Well, I don't think Ebruitus would do that.
I don't know.
I don't think Ebruitus would ever actually, like, fight.
Well, that's what I was saying in the beginning. Nostradamus the vampire wouldn't fight. Yeah, Ebruitus would just...
Ow!
Yeah.
Been very considerate. But I'm just going to leave for now.
Yeah, he would just leave the arena.
Call me when you've calmed down.
It would be a draw, basically. I don't think Nostradamus knows how to fight.
What is Nostradamus?
Nostradamus the vampire! He's a very positive vampire. He's very positive. He tells you the future. He usually just sleeps in his coffin. He rises sometimes to tell you something, goes back to sleep. It's a very positive vampire.
The thing about Nostradamus, the genesis of both of these characters is that you said something stupid while we were recording. And I, like, tried to make you laugh. And then you're like, it worked a bit too well. The first time you said Bruins instead of Ebritus, the second time you thought Nosferatu the vampire was Nostradamus the vampire, and now they within seconds they were on Redbubble merchandise. I love it. There's no character.
It's good. Nostradamus is actually 3 forms. One where he sits on like a magic ball, a crystal ball.
I had nothing to do with any of this.
One, it was actually on side 7. Thank you. One where he's like, and one where, oh my god, what's the other one? I forgot. There's 3 forms.
He's just going.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you see? Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that shows up when you're like, and at the end of, I need you to record, no, not. And at the end of the episode, Nostradamus, he has a question. That's what shows up that one.
Yeah. All right. Moon has a question. TK Moon has a question. I love Sotfs. Almost get it? Scholar of the first sense.
Oh, okay.
Sotfs.
Yeah.
Almost entirely thanks to Cassidiv's amazing lore through. And I'm a tiny bit bummed out when it is disregarded in the larger Dark Souls lore conversation. Okay, I have my own ways I see it fitting in and fleshing out the undead cycle. How do you two see it in the Dark Souls picture? I actually liked Dark Souls 2 a lot. And I liked it because it was just like separate. Just
That's the thing, because it is its own thing.
Like, I loved it because
like,
it's... It was... Go. Yeah,
no, like, that's the thing. It's like, it's not like it's disregarded. It's more that, like, it happens, and then it's like Dark Souls went off on its own little tangent to do something else. And then Dark Souls 3 shows up. And it's like, no, we're back to this now.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, it's not that it's disregarded, it's like, well, the story just sort of like went back to the beginning again. So if you want to talk about Dark Souls 2, you sort of have to talk about it on its own in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that they didn't... Like, they kind of tried to incorporate Dark Souls 1 into 2, but it was more like, oh yeah, their names are forgotten, a lot of gods, lot... But anyway, back to Dark Souls 2. So I actually like that it felt different, it played differently, the visuals were, like, distinct, it was still a Souls-like, but, like, it had its own feel, you know, it's Dark Souls 2. I really enjoyed it as its own thing, and I think I would have preferred if Dark Souls 3, it's like, okay, well, you know, Dark Souls happened in this part of the globe, Dark Souls 2 here, and maybe Dark Souls 3 happens in another part of the globe, and to see how some other society is affected by this thing that, I guess, Gwyn did, you know?
And then it gets weird in 3, because they're also like, oh yeah, all the lands that converged, there's like parts of Dark Souls 2 are in here as well,
yeah,
so there's
I
like
it.
The Drang Lake is there, but it's called Drang, and like Laddersmith Gilligan's there, Zully and Alva are there, and it's like, so it's integrated in a very odd way.
Yeah.
So like when people get into like Dark Souls, the complete canonical history, or like Ashen Hollow's Project Dark Souls or something, like it doesn't get like, it's not big on like timeline integration and stuff, but like the ideas it deals with, it's more interesting than 3 is in terms of what it's dealing with. And it really does go like engage with that notion of like forgetting. Yeah, which like 3 sort of does a bit, where it's like Orlando is forgotten, and then it's like
it's right there, bro. It's right there. No, it's forgotten. It's no.
Yeah.
I mean, but Dark Souls 3 though, I found it very pretty and very good gameplay too. Like overall, it's, you know, Dark Souls 3 is a really super good game, but I just personally wish the lore went in a different direction.
Yeah.
So
or even if they just not touched on 2 at all.
Yeah.
In 3 and just let 2 be its own.
Yeah.
This is just a thing that happens, which is more like, it's like Bloodborne. How like Bloodborne is sort of more interesting because it's like this. Yeah, it is about the fate of the world and everything, but it's also like this is localized in one place on one night. So it has a sort of like self-contained, intimate quality to it, even though what it's dealing with is cosmic in nature.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, it's not. If like you had to go to like all these different kingdoms and things in Bloodborne, it would feel like a thing, didn't it? Because you do, but you do it through the weird chalice system. It's not like, oh, now we have to go to Loran, and then it's like we have to walk through a bunch of dungeons, and then there's the King of Loran or something. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, and I also love Dark Souls 2 because it was like, from what I remember, they were making it. It didn't work out. They had to get another director. And it's like, you have about 5 seconds to make this game happen.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and then they even made it better with Scholar of the First Sin. So it's like...
Yeah. Scholar improves everything except Iron Keep, which it makes worse.
So, you know.
By adding a whole lot more stupid Alon Knights.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And TK Moon also says, Richie, I want to see more of your curious cabinet. I caught a glimpse of a pink Ghostbuster toy a few AMAs ago.
Yeah.
That I've had since the 80s, and my daughter now uses to fire ghosts across her living room.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay. We do these. I think people are getting more and more used to my bedroom at this point. Hang on. This is tangled up in iridescent tinsel, surprising nobody. So that's the base of my TV. You can see it in HD now because my camera's better. This is the Ghostbuster thing here. That was called the Boozuka.
Aww.
And you put little ghosts in it and squeeze them, they popped out. That is... So that like bikini girl there, that is the mascot of a line of budget Japanese PlayStation 2 games.
Oh god.
That's like the extremely Richie coded thing. But like, yeah, I'll have my my budget title mascot things. That was actually quite hard to find. She's like a gacha model. That's a Boglin. People who grew up in the 90s might remember Boglins. They were all squishy things. It's a pig from the Flintstones. That's solar powered. Yeah. The little sushi thing. It's another ghost from Ghostbusters, Princess Peach. It's my dwarf I showed off before. That you can't tell that's Cloud on a chocobo. He's sort of half falling off the TV. That's Jurassic Park dinosaur. This is Zardion cartridge. And then if you pull back here, that's Jar Jar Binks' head.
Right.
That's a money box. I used to put my sunglasses on it, but now I have too many sunglasses. Moving up, we've got, like, this thing here. That's a snail that unfolds into a little diorama. It's from a line called Enchantimals. I got it on eBay. What else? There's some more of my sunglasses. As you can see, it is 1:29 a.m. And then there's the top part here, where, all my other weird toys and things I just got from eBay. People might remember this from when I finally came out as a Transformers collector. I showed off these. And there's my old ID card that I keep above the mirror as a talisman to ward off my past self. There's actually not... Yeah, this is sort of it. I don't know if there's much else to say. It's mostly like a... Hello.
Hi.
It's Sin. And then, like, there's, like, where I sleep. That's a little picture of Sin and I there.
Aww.
It's very cute. And then if you go around the back, there's just, like, all the other crap that I have in here.
I like the clouds and the rainbows.
Thank you. They're all from eBay. That took a very long time to arrive. Those little the two glowing little, like, things there, those are actually lava lamps that I emptied the wax out and just filled with water, and replaced the bulb with an LED bulb.
Yeah, they still didn't explode yet. They're good.
No, well, they're not.
You
producing
worried me a
heat.
little.
They're not producing any heat.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's good because they're full of glow in the dark stuff. So when the light goes off, they stay sort of iridescent green. It's really neat looking. There I am. Back there. So it's good because it's HD, so I can properly sort of show this off. You can see all my terrariums. They're there. I have 2 terrariums and an aquarium, and that's the slug shrine there, where the 2 little lanterns are.
Yeah.
You can see, this, There we go. Things to refocus. There we go.
It's very
Anyway.
cute.
Oh, there's, hang on, there's Tails gets trolled. Working in the middle there. Probably can't see it. Anyway, there we go.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Richie's room tour.
Oh my.
Okay, Zach has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you all ever heard of or played a PS2 game called Blood Will Tell Dororo?
I have played it emulated. I know what you mean. I actually brought it up when Sekiro came out, because the premise of Dororo is you're God, you're like a kind of, I don't know if you're technically a samurai, but you're kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
And your body parts were all given away when you were born. So so it's like Sekiro. You have all these like prosthetic parts on you.
They cut you up
So
as a child?
I don't, you don't, it's not literally getting cut up. It's like this like fairy tale thing that like, yes,
Oh,
your
yeah, it's a
parents
fairy
gave away your
tale.
body parts.
Yeah, your parents.
Yeah.
All this fairy tale, your parents giving you your body parts.
Yeah. So, like the character has like arms will flip open and have like spikes and stuff inside them.
I gave
And
away.
I was
Mommy gave away your body parts to buy a Tesla.
basically, yeah. So
Cute. So yeah, they were wondering, they would love to see like us make a video on it or something.
we could.
Yeah.
We could.
Oh no, sorry,
It's
you're
one of
right.
those-
We have no content to cover. Thank you. Rich is very happy because finally we have something to record about.
Finally.
Finally. Also, another thing that we're gonna do, which I made an executive decision about, is that Empty Guys 2 Death Force will not be a one episode thing. It will be a multiple episode analysis.
Okay.
Because first we gotta talk about just the story and describe the story to the people who have not seen it.
Mhm.
And then we gotta talk about the characters. And then we gotta talk about the themes.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So,
Karl Marx is asking, what journals does Richie read for his academic career?
well, Carl, you're never going to finish Capital at this rate. I mean, you've given up halfway through Volume 3. You had this whole thing planned out. This is why it's not done. What journals do I read? Currently I'm actually not doing like academic work. I'm teaching. I'm just teaching like basically. I call them kids, which I shouldn't, but they're like just out of high school, like 19, 20-year-olds. I'm teaching them like social media literacy stuff. One of the things that happened, I brought this up a couple of times, but like one of the things that happened here as a result of COVID is that the government said, basically like Australian universities are very dependent on overseas students, more so than other places would be. There's some universities where it's like almost, I think, half the students come from overseas. And what happened is COVID hit and they all had to go home, so they weren't getting tuition fees anymore. And a lot of the universities went into free fall and had to like fire a bunch of staff, and that's actually why I'm like in a vocational place right now, because it's so precarious in the actual like university sector. And one of the ways the government decided to fix this was to just make all the degrees they considered to be inessential significantly more expensive. On the grounds that, well, they'll do it and then the universities will get the tuition fees from that, which is clearly bullshit. It's very transparently something they came up with as an excuse to raise fees. It's not going to fix anything. But yeah, so like I'm not really in academia at the moment because it's such a mess. Back then I read a lot of Men and Masculinity, so that was my main thing that I read. And yeah, that was about, yeah. I still I have all my my notes still. They're still on a hard drive. I can give you a full my bibliography was 25 pages long. give you a rough idea of how much I have to read.
Why
But,
didn't
yeah.
nobody ask me what journals I'm reading?
I know the journals you're reading because you make me look them up for you, because your university's too cheap to pay for subscriptions.
That's so annoying. Oh, now I'm not even probably gonna have a subscription because they laid me off. So I'm not gonna have access to their friggin' database. Anyway, I also am a researcher and I am currently reading various journals, such as
Uh-huh.
American Journal of Alzheimer's Disease and Other Dementias, Frontiers in Neurology, BMC Geriatrics, the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry, Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, Psychiatry, Alzheimer's and Dementia. I don't know if that's a journal. I'm just going through the list of all the articles I read. And I'm looking at
John-
people who publish them.
John wants to know if my students know about my channel. They do. But the problem is because they're all like 19, they don't know what Dark Souls is. That's not a joke. Because like this one goes, oh, Dark Souls. Yeah, I've heard of that.
That's so
And I'm like,
cute.
yeah, that sort of works because you were about 8 when it came out. So I understand it passing you by. But none of them cared. None of them cared that I had early Elden Ring information. None of them cared.
They're probably like, this is an old people thing. Sorry. Kids nowadays don't know what the X-Files are, do not know Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And the last question is
They
by...
were amazed. I told this last time, but like I told them that I had a MySpace account, and they were like, "How is that possible?" It was like I told them that, like, you know, I had a black and white television. When I was your age, TV was black and white. I was like, when I was your age, I had a MySpace account.
MySpace is something different now, though. Can you even have an account?
It's just for music. It's pretty much just for music. Yeah.
Okay, and the last question is by Caboose Mobile. When, or Mobile, I don't know. When is the...
Go on.
I don't know what that is. You're gonna have to read it.
Reborn.
No.
Okay, hang on. Let's just.
Like the fourth word. What is that?
Blunderbuss.
What is that?
Because it's like the blunderbuss is a gun, and this is like blunderbuss as like an actual bus.
Blunderbuss is a gun?
You know that game Bloodborne? At the start of it, you literally have a choice between two firearms, and one of them is called a blunderbuss.
That's right. Okay, I was reading it and I was picturing a bus.
That's what that's
I
the
was-
joke, because it's like
Oh,
the
okay,
blunderbuss is
so-
a bus.
Okay, I'll cut that out. I'll edit this out. I was just, I
Okay.
got really confused. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can read the question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When is the blunderbuss going to pick me up? I'm going to be late for Richie's 37th lock shield lecture at university.
That sounds like something Tsuna would say. And then Reborn would shoot him with a dying will bullet, and then Tsuna would run to Richie's lecture.
The thing is, I'm going to be 37 in like 3 weeks. So seeing Richie's 37th, I'm like, oh, they've been paying attention.
They've
And I
been
was,
paying
oh, it's actually
attention.
like, Richie's 37th, you're going to get
Well,
the...
maybe that's the lore behind the lore.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Thank you, Scholar. It's actually our birthday weeks. It's not our birthdays yet. It might be a little
decided that.
complex, but it's part of the lore.
Sin's birthday is the 29th, and then my birthday is the 9th of April. So, but she's a year younger than me, but she was born in March. So she'll turn 36, and then 11 days later I'll turn 37. So there's this period where we're the same age and we're so in touch.
Yeah, that's
Well,
why you gotta start early to
we're
build
even-
up to it.
We're even more in touch.
Yeah.
Oh, Leon has a question for you.
Leon, the shape-shifting chameleon from Reborn.
Why not? Like I didn't realize until recently how many times chameleons and things are called Leon, and it's a joke about chameleon. I was
Yeah,
like, I
Leon,
just assumed it was a
chameleon.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, what's the question?
The question is, how did you get interested in studying cognition and cognitive ability?
Do we want what kind? Do we want the honest answer? Or do we want the fancy answer?
Well, I don't think anyone who works with you watches this channel.
Um, the honest answer is, so in Quebec, you finish high school, you go to college for 2 years, which is CJEP, and then you go to university, which is like where you get your bachelor degree. So I finished high school. I went to CJEP for 2 years, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I just took like, it was more of a general courses with the emphasis on like law and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that was done, you have to go to university to do your bachelor degree. And I was like, I have no idea. I don't know what I want to do with this. So I applied for the psychology thing.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of stuck around with it. I still have, doubts whether or not that was the right path to go. Whether or not that was the, you know,
But that's me in social science as well.
like, yeah. Like,
Because
yeah.
Because I, like, my undergraduate was in film production, which is an industry that, like, if you, after, like, you graduate, you're probably not going to get a job in the industry at all. And if you do, it will be a very, very long time, and you'll get it by, like, knowing people. It's not like there are set, like, surveys there where they'll be like, if you're studying this thing, like, this percentage of people will have a job in that industry by the end of it. So, like, IT is like 90% of people who study IT end up working in IT. Film is like 20%. It's not very high. And basically, when I was done with my undergraduate, I had very good grades, basically, in it. And they said to me, if you stick around, like, one of the teachers there had sort of, like, he liked me a lot, and he basically said, if you want to stick around and do a PhD, like, you'll get paid by the university. You'll get paid a stipend while you're doing that. And I was like, so I'm sort of looking at it, it's like, okay, like, incredibly insecure, not sure if you'll get work, probably have to live off unemployment for a while, stipend. But, like, if you do the stipend, you won't be working in the industry, and I probably wouldn't work in the industry anyway. So it's like, okay, cool, gimme. So that's essentially how it was. Literally, like, I didn't know what the hell to do, and I was presented with stability in the form of, like, we'll pay you for 3 and a bit years to just write a book for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and, like, I've talked about this before, and I'm not trying to be, like, snarky or mean when I say it, even though it sounds that way. But, like, by virtue of being on this channel and editing videos with you, I've done a lot better than a lot of the people I was at film school with in terms of, like, film and video and stuff. Because, like, I know it's like, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just, like, it's just a fact of, like, it's such a hard industry to get into, and it's easy to, like, get screwed over by. Because, like, I keep in touch with a few people from back then. None of them are in the industry at all. A lot of them basically saw it as an arts degree, where, like, you do it and then you move on to something else after that. Because when I say film school, like, it was an accredited bachelor's course from the university. So, like, you could move. That's how I moved on to postgraduate studies, because I had a bachelor's and everything. And like someone I keep in touch with, like, she works in an animal shelter. Another person, she works in a she runs a papercraft shop, like a hipster papercraft shop. And No one, like a couple of guys I was friends with do work in they do camera operating for like TV shows and stuff. Someone I know actually, she has just launched a YouTube channel where she's doing After Effects tutorials, because she sort of moved into doing freelance like After Effects design. And I was subscribed to her channel from film school like 10 years ago, and then she just uploaded again. I'm like, oh, hi, where have you been? And so she's doing these After Effects tutorials. But like, yeah, like, God, this is like, this is a shitty story, but it happened to some friends where they spent years and years and years raising all of this money. They raised like about 50 grand, I think, around, possibly even more. I didn't ask, to make their like. It was a film about zombies, but it wasn't like a splatterfest like lowbrow thing. Like, it was kind of like The Walking Dead sort of thing, like trying to do like a psychological thing about like what it's like, these people trapped, surrounded by these things. And they put all this time and all this effort into making it. And like, it was finished, and then it got picked up by Netflix, and they were like, holy shit, like, we've made it. And then Netflix screened it a little bit and then took it off Netflix.
Why?
And because they just it's rotating. Took it off Netflix. The problem is that that Netflix still own it. So they can't like show it to someone else because Netflix own the rights to it. And because it didn't make a big enough deal initially, like, it hasn't really, it didn't go in, and like they sort of like, I think one guy is still doing shorts and the other one, I think he's just doing something else now. Yeah, like it's that. It's like people who like, yeah, they just sort of like bet everything on something, and it like if you look at like indie success stories from the 90s, everyone talks about like Kevin Smith. Like Kevin Smith, the guy who made Clerks. He's like he was a big deal, he's very successful, but like if you look at how he got that film made, he got it made by maxing out a bunch of credit cards under like different identities, basically.
Wow.
He maxed out a whole lot of credit cards, and essentially, like, not on different identities, but basically he maxed out all these credit cards. Yeah. So if the stars had not aligned and Clerks had not been bought by Miramax, Kevin Smith would have nothing, and he would be like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So it's like that. Like, it's so risky because the investment of money is so massive into actually making a film. It's a little less bad now because you can do it digitally, but like I know people whose like their graduating piece for that course cost like 25 grand or 50
Jesus
grand.
Christ.
Yeah, because they insisted on shooting on film,
Which
is really expensive. Like mine cost $1,800.
Even that,
because it was also it was shot digitally. It was shot digitally. It had spaceships in it. It had slavs in it, and it was But like that, because we shot it digitally and we just like did it very cheaply. But like, there are people who like, God, there was this friend of mine, and she wanted to do sock puppets. The plan was it would be like a puppet show with socks, and the socks, the more she looked into it, the more she sort of got gradually more ambitious, to the point where at the end of it, she had fully articulated like Muppet things. And they had to be made in America and shipped over, and it was all shot on film, and it cost about 25 grand, I think.
This is giving me anxiety.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean,
but it's, who pays? Do you pay out of your own pocket, or does the school pay?
Well, you pay, but let's say your parents are both lawyers, you don't really pay.
Oh my god! But that's so messed up. You're not like. You know how when you go to school, you're not supposed to come out like broke. You're supposed to.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And like I collect like Australian films, and there's a lot of in my that whole wall. Hang on, that whole wall over there. That whole wall over there. That's all DVDs, except the last stash, which is books. Those are all DVDs. I have a lot of Australian films there that were made by, like, you'll notice it, and it was made, and no one, like, it was produced and no one saw it. And if you look up like the IMDb of the person who made it, they've never done anything since. So it's like you just like everything was poured into this one very risky thing, and it didn't work, and that's all. You can't really do it again. I God, like one of the guys I studied under, he had made a film in the late 90s that had actually been successful. And like he was sort of on track to make a career of it. And what happened was like he made this. He wanted to do a sequel, and it was about. He was like a social realist guy. Because his first film was called Mall Boy. It was about. You can't get it anymore. Like you can get. I have a VHS copy because he was never issued on DVD. It was called Mall Boy. It was about like disaffected youth hanging around a mall, basically, and like he'd been a social worker, and he based it on his own experiences dealing with like suburban youth. And then he was on track to. It did well, and he was on track to make this sequel, and it was going to be about like meth dealing, basically. And this is like early 2000s. This is before like Breaking Bad and everything else. Like he was sort of like ahead of that being the big thing about like ice being a big problem. He'd seen it firsthand, and he had this whole thing set up about like meth dealing and everything. And every time he tried to get it made, they would say, "Well, no, the thing is like you already made this one movie, so the next one has to be bigger. You have to up what you did." So he would have to go away and rewrite it and make an ad. He would be forced to add things. Like you have to add, there has to be like a car chase in it and stuff. He add and he'd come back, okay, I've done it. And it's like, well, now you've made it bigger. We need more money. So you have to go get more money and go back and get more money. Wow. But then they say, well, now you have more money. You have to rewrite it. And he just got stuck in this cycle.
Holy shit.
And then by the end of it, it was literally like a decade. And then he's like, it's just not going to happen. He just gave up on it. And then that's why he's teaching, essentially. Because like, it was just such a nightmare to get a follow-up done. Yeah. So that's like what the situation's like, and all I'm getting around is like working with Sin, making Bloodborne videos is like honestly like a lot more than a lot of people I think were able to reach after. And like it was not just some rando film school. It was like very, very prestigious, and basically like.
Yeah, so kids, when it's time for you to pick your career, consider the following: how much does it cost to study what you want to study? Because you may not necessarily want to be in debt when you're out.
Mm-hmm.
What is the possibility of getting a job in the field, and how much does it pay? And will this job make you happy?
The other thing, though, this is what I did. Because, like, well, what I was getting at sort of is, like, I realized toward the end, because I was there 4 years, because I did a 4th year to do an honors project. And, like, I realized that toward the end of it, I was not cut out to do this as a job. Yeah. Even if, like, because you look at it and it's like, okay, of all the people here, the successful one is not going to be me. Yeah. Because I'm not as, like, committed to it as a lot of the other people there are. I'm just sort of like, I'm doing things that interest me, but I'm not like driven to this like insane level where I'm obsessed with making films. You're also
not like arrogant enough to be like.
Well, I'm not a good director because I don't like telling people what to do. Yeah. This is a major problem with me. Is that like I directed several films in which I just sort of like I was like a bit of a little mouse and I didn't put my foot down enough. And I just hated it. But, like, I feel like George Lucas has the right idea with just making everything digital. Because it's like, just make it do whatever and I don't have to worry about fighting with anyone. But, yeah, like, and I realized that wasn't going to be me. Because, like, if you do an undergraduate, the area that you do postgraduate work in doesn't need to be the same area. You just have to be able to demonstrate that you could do it. So that's why I was able to go from an undergraduate in film production to a postgraduate in social science. Because basically, it's odd, but like my work in film production, I wrote a lot of essays that were heavily into like, I was talking to Switch Fairy about it, who doesn't have a YouTube account, but I talked to her on Discord, and it's like certain things you will be drawn towards certain things. So like I was in film school, I was writing doing all this work on film, but I was writing all these essays on like masculinity in film, which was not the topic, but I would drag it toward that. I was always writing about masculinity in films, and then that led into like social science, because it's like, well, clearly you've done a lot of completely independent research and reading into like how masculinity is constructed. So on the basis of that, I was able to say, like, hey, did all this work on masculinity in film, got a first class honors, can write something else about this. And yeah, so yeah.
Jody says maybe Sin could give you some tips on directing. This is funny because
you'd be excellent.
I wouldn't be.
No, you're a good producer.
My boyfriend and I were watching this thing, Richie, about I don't know what was it, something, but the director was talking, or they were talking about the director, and they were showing like, you have the setup, and he has to like, you know, make sure like, you know, he's looking through this thing, but then he's on the scene to make sure everything's like in place, like. And I'm thinking, I just had a vision, if that was me, I would be an anxious, nervous wreck that would, like, the entire time, I would probably lose my shit at people. I would probably be horrible. I'd probably be like, deadlines, money, let's go, come on. Yeah. Like, I would not,
That's excellent.
Thinking about it gave me anxiety, because I'd be anxious, I'd make everybody anxious. I'd be like...
Yeah. Werner Herzog brought a gun to set and threatened to kill members of the crew. Like...
Okay.
I think you'd be very good at that.
Oh my god. I'd be a horror to work with. I'd be horrible. Like, people would not want to work with me. 'Cause... Yeah.
Yeah. You can see in, like, the blood, like, those up-close things, all that footage is me.
Yeah.
So you can see that, like, I just, like, creeping around looking at things from weird angles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care about actors.
Yeah.
So I'm not very good at this.
I like how sometimes people are like, oh my god, Sin finally made Richie do Bloodborne up close. No. If I were in charge of making... If we had, like... If Bloodborne up close had to be done, you know, like, this is the timeline, we do it. And I was responsible for it. You'd have, like, 50 Bloodborns up close now, because Richie would literally be scared for his life.
Yeah, I am.
It would be the best 50 Bloodborns up close he'd ever make. So no, this Bloodborne up close is all Richie. It's all Richie's motivation, Richie's internal presence.
And you can also see, like, I've talked about this before, but like I think I'm just more connected to places than necessarily to people. Like my third year graduating project, the one that cost $1,800, that was like a narrative film. But then, as I moved on from that into honors projects, like my actual, like, the final thing I did for that course was completely non-narrative. It was made out of, like, archival footage and, like, archival narration all spliced together to do this, like, meditation on the nature of entropy. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of what there's not really a commercial future in that.
Richie?
Yes?
We're gonna take a little break. Because, I don't know, well, the patron questions are done. But it's time to pluck patron. Because, okay, let me tell you something that happened.
It's time to pluck patron.
Pluck.
Okay. Okay, where's my mirror? Hang on. There's a little one here that was annoying me throughout it. It's like around here somewhere. There we go. Oof, there we go.
Sometimes
Patreon.com/SinclairLaw.
very on point. That was like a model. Like, the camera's on, the camera's on. Gotta do it. Yeah, so what happened was, I have a story to tell.
Go on.
Do you know the Bethesda store? What happened is...
I think everyone who shows up for these is now intimately familiar with the Bethesda store, because I'm beginning to think the Bethesda store is secretly sponsoring this series, and you just haven't told me yet.
Yeah, I
Because you know that I have an issue with us being sponsored.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't want us to be sponsored.
You do not have... The reason... Let me tell you why we're not sponsored yet. Is because I, the producer of the podcast, have not looked into it. Because I don't have time for this. Maybe I should. Shadow Raid Legends. They'll sponsor anything.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah.
Squarespace. The mattress.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't listened to podcasts for a long time, so I don't know if Casper mattresses is still a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also saw some snacks sponsoring people.
Remember when you wanted us to be sponsored by the concept of food?
The concept of food? Well, Big Moon Energy always sponsors us, so that's good.
Yeah. The problem is that we are Big Moon Energy, so...
Sponsor ourselves, there's a conflict of interest.
We'll sponsor ourselves for $1 million and just immediately get it back again.
Okay. So what happened? Let me tell you what happened. Oh yeah, VPN, the VPN thing. That's a good one.
NordVPN, yeah.
There's also
Dollar
something...
Shave Club?
Oh, yes! Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There's also another thing where... I think there's more than one, but basically you order food, but they... Like, where you order meals, but they bring you the veggies, like, and you just boil them or cook them or cut them, and then you make the meal.
Was that Blue Apron?
Maybe? Was it? I don't... Probably.
I like how we're now just listing actual sport. We're just giving free publicity to these things that have never given us anything and we don't care about.
Loot box. Does loot box do? Because I actually bought, like, when Fallout 4 or 76, whichever, one of the Fallouts has a whole loot box thing going on, and my boyfriend was like, we're getting it. And... Okay, anyway, so the story. While I was sleeping, like 2 days ago, while I was sleeping, an email went out.
Right.
An email that's like, hey, this is Bethesda, and we're just emailing everyone to say that...
Your impression of Todd Howard.
Yes.
Yes.
To say that in the story there's a new little thing that appeared while I was sleeping. Why would he do that while I'm sleeping? I can't buy things while I'm sleeping, Todd. So it's called Garage Canvas Print. Now, I've been on the lookout for a new print thing because I got the new Coca-Cola bottles. It's beautiful. Right. This is what my boyfriend told me. When we got it, it was a surprise. And he was like, oh my god, this is so good. If we ever break up, I'm keeping it. That's... It was very specific.
Who gets the Baby Yoda?
Me. He doesn't care about Baby Yoda, but it was very specific because it's not the computer PlayStation. It was like, this is the only time he ever said it. If we ever break up, I'm keeping this canvas. It's nice. Okay. So I've been like, oh, I hope they make a new canvas with something soon. While I was sleeping, Garage Canvas Print. It's the fancy one, you know, the garage with the dog and the power suit, the iconic one. And by the morning, I clicked it. And wave 1 was sold out.
Heavens.
There were only 300 made, so you know what I did? I didn't even have time to reflect about whether or not I need this because wave 1 sold out. So I just click it, and I'm just like, buy. I don't care. Let's go buy shipping. Yes, and you can't even like, you have to pay shipping just for this because you can't add things because it's like a special item. Yes, shipping, fine. UPS, let's go. I don't care. Boom, ordered it. And I didn't even have time to reflect on whether I really like... But after reflecting, like, yeah, I do love it. I do want it. This was a good decision. We could probably put it, like, in the bedroom or something. Maybe, or here. Like, anywhere. It's beautiful. Anywhere. And then, like, about 10 hours later, they were all sold out. So Wave 2 was sold out. So I did a good thing by impulsively purchasing it at that time.
Right.
And it will ship in August. So, this is why patreon.com/sinclairlore. Impulse buys. It's very expensive. It's 85 American dollars plus $40 shipping plus probably like $40 tax. That's all American. I did not think about it. I had to have it.
I'm still building a Warhammer table, but luckily it's constructed largely out of flower pots. Which are not very expensive.
Out of what?
Flower pots.
Flower pots?
You know, the things you put flowers in.
But it's flat.
No, but I'm making little. Yeah, the flat part was the easy part because that was all. Okay, I'll tell you what it's made of.
Okay.
The flat parts are, you know, I bought these 1 foot square cake display boards.
Yes.
So they were 1 foot square, and then on that I stuck 1 foot square cork tiles. So I've got this like rigid surface with the cork on top. I have 9 of those. And then I'm building on top of that the terrain that will be there. And what I was interested in doing with it is I didn't want to have harsh angular terrain. It's meant to be an urban environment for kill team.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want it to be like a bunch of boxes and squares. So I wanted everything to be as sort of rounded and curvy as possible.
Uh-huh.
So I was at the hardware store and I bought these flower pots that are sort of shaped like this, and they look like a dome.
Oh,
nice. Started making this like sort of dome sort of city, kind of like if people know Dominion, the Masamune Shiro manga.
Warhammer.
It's sort of.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's getting like a sort of dome city look to it. Okay, what army? So what we're talking about here is kill team. So the kill team rules, it's like you just have like a squad of like half a dozen. So I am making a Primaris Space Marine squad at the moment. I am waiting for the rules, the data sheets for the assault intercessors to come out so I can properly use them, because I don't want to pay $250 for Pariah Nexus to get some cards. And then I was thinking for the opposite, people were going to fight. I had a bunch of ideas. I haven't gone through any of them yet. I have a friend who... What chapter? I'm making my own chapter. They're snail themed. I bought all these... I have them here. I bought all these little snail beads here. And I'm working those into the armor designs to give them like little spirals. And I'm got a name for them. It'll be like the something of the spiral, I think. So, as opposed to the opposing team, I don't know yet. I have a friend who lives literally over the road who loves orcs. And we've been friends since like we were 12, and there used to be an orc spin-off game called Gorka Morka. We never got to play it, but I think like if I made like an orc kill team, he would be into it because he gets to play his little like, it's kind of like living out Gorka Morka. The other one I had was I had this weird notion of buying one of the Necromunda Escher gangs and then slicing all the guns off and giving them Tau guns and playing them as like proxy Tau fire warriors. And they would kind of look like, I don't know, like something from Bubblegum Crisis. That was an idea. Or Tyranids, because I mentioned before, I have a bunch of Tzeentch models lying around, and one of the things about Tzeentch models, they all have these tentacles and arms and things, but they also have these bracelets on them, and I thought I liked the idea of Tyranids wearing jewelry. So I would probably get Tyranids, and I would like strategically stick bits of Tzeentch on them to make it look like they were Tyranids that for some reason had a sense of aesthetics. I don't know how that would work, but they would. They would. You know how like Murgo's wet nurse is like a giant spider monster, but it's also wearing a necklace, something like that. Yeah, Zangors. Yeah, I love Zangors. Anyway, there we go.
Yay!
The other thing I want to do is I want to play another game called Dead Zone with it. So the reason I'm designing the table the way I am is that Dead Zone doesn't use it doesn't use ranges or distances that you measure. It uses spaces, like a board would use spaces, like a board game. And the spaces are all 3-inch cubes. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that even though everything is sort of curvy, it all fits into a 3x3-inch grid. So I can play Dead Zone on it and not worry about like messing that up. So there we go. Yeah, Gene Stealer cults. Yeah, I like Gene Stealer cults, but Gene Stealer cults, they only just get like, it's mostly people, and then you get the Gene Stealers as the monsters. And I just wanted like a whole lot of like Tyranid warriors, but wearing like necklaces and I don't know, corsets or something. We'll see what happens.
Cool.
Yeah.
Richie, so all that to say, if you'd like to support Sin's Fallout Addiction and
true.
Richie's building addiction,
Don't know. No, but the whole point is it's not costing very much because it's all flower pots. They're like $2 each.
Well, they're not free.
Right.
There we go.
Okay. If you'd like to support my drip addiction.
Oh, that's true. That stuff's expensive.
Yes.
Consider going to patreon.com/SinclairLore for more content such as this. Literally, because Saturday Night's Snack Covenant is this.
It's worse than this. At least we're talking.
Richie, could you please tell us about the Patreon structure since you want to talk so much?
Patreon is structured very interestingly, where for $2 a month you get access to a lot of extra stuff that's very good. And for $5 a month, you get access to stuff that's a bit worse. It's a bit like this. And the more you pay, the worse it gets. There's a lot of channels would try to nickel and dime you by saying you got to pay for good stuff. We support you.
Yeah,
we believe in you. We're
agree.
being nice to you. We're giving you the best stuff for the least amount.
Yeah.
So if you pledge more than $5, you can, but you're a fucking idiot if you do that. Thanks. We had a $50 patron join earlier tonight. Thank you very much. But feel free to donate $2 to get pretty much everything that's good.
Yeah. Actually, fun fact, I think it's a $20 or $25 tier. There's about 10 or 15, like 10, 20 or a minute, like few second clips of you just being a bully.
I've never even seen it.
That's just the tier. It's just
I don't even know what's on the Patreon because Sin is the one that runs it.
So basically, for $20 or $25, you can listen to like 10 clips that are like 30 seconds each or a couple of minutes each of Richie being a friggin' bully.
Yeah.
There's
Someone's
no
asking
lore
my
of
opinion on Hawaiian shirts.
They're cool.
Sin, do you have an opinion on Hawaiian shirts?
I feel like I spent my formative years in the Union. It's just like, oh, it's something Americans wear.
Yeah.
Like, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to have an opinion on them?
They asked me. So, like, my feeling is, like, I don't personally like them because I don't like patterns. I like single, solid color things. Like, that's, it's like, I think the only things I've worn that have, like, pattern, like that Windows thing, that's the closest thing I have to a Hawaiian shirt. But even that's just, like, that's all just, like, it's like the Windows logo over and over again. But yeah, I don't really like too many patterns and colors on those, like one color. Like everything I'm wearing now is black and blue. I'll show you. So it's all just like that's all just like black and blue because that's what I had on me. But yeah, I don't know.
That's a good point. Like I'm thinking now in my wardrobe, I just have like solid colored stuff. But that's like it's mostly work stuff. So.
And like everything I have, like it's all solid as well. Like there's another room tour, but like it's like that's all just like solid purple.
What is on your bed?
Green, solid
Clean your bed.
I was getting ready for this. That's
Don't give me cleaning anxiety. Clean your friggin' bed.
That is what I was wearing before I got dressed up in this to do this AMA with you. All right. Oh yeah, Dick Pickle. If it works for you, that's great. I'm just talking personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Cool.
I personally just prefer like solid blocks of color.
There's a question from Leon the Chameleon. Richie, do you think the lesser demon of death and darkness was supposed to just be a School of Menses member? She's got a similar spider motif to other Menses stuff.
Oh well, it's the other way around. It's that the spiders were the lesser demons, like minions and or something. Like they're called like her devotees, but like they were her they were connected to her, and then they made them into Menses people later on, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's kind of the other way around. Menses are just like they were sort of something that I think the whole notion of the School of Menses is something that came about later on when they broke Lawrence into two different characters. Because initially it would have just been like the church did this, but then in order to sort of make a bit more sense, like, well, it wasn't the church; it was like a separate faction within the church did this, which sort of makes it bit. Was there a greater demon of death and darkness? I've never seen one, but that's a really good it's a really good question. Because they specify she's the lesser one and there's no greater one. So you'd think, why would you bother if...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good question. Well, we've been doing this for 2 hours.
It's weird being like, this is like questions like, you got a great sense of fashion, and it's like, I was wearing the same grotty shirts every day until like 6 months ago, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I just sort of came out of my shell.
Yeah.
It's been expensive.
Patreon.com/SinclairLore, because Richie spends all his money on clothes.
It's true. It's true.
If you love this great sense of fashion, help support it. If you love the Fallout merchandise that literally has no place because I have no shelves in this house, I still have no shelves in this house. Because it's because I don't
Patreon.com/SinclairLore, buy the girl some shelves.
Yeah, the thing is, the good shelves are expensive, the fancy ones too. It's like, do I really want to make holes in these walls?
But like my shelves, I didn't make holes in the walls. They're just flat pack ones I assemble.
Oh, maybe. But are they fancy?
Well, you tell me. These are just like... These are just modular, like, flat pack cube storage things.
Yeah, I don't want cube storage. My place is small enough, so it would have to be something that hangs above my head. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. This is a question that was asked before and we missed it, so I'm sorry.
What's up?
Loki talked in translations that before Demon Souls takes place Boletaria, there had been dragons in it. Could this be a link to the Age of Ancients in Dark Souls?
I don't... so you're asking if Demon Souls and Dark Souls are, like, connected?
I think the issue is that, like... Yeah, the issue is, like, Demon Souls predates Dark Souls completely, and they don't seem to be connected at all.
No, I don't think that they're meant to be connected.
I don't think they legally could be connected. I think that's sort of the issue, because Bandai Namco own the rights to one and Sony own the rights to the other.
Well, because Demon Souls became super popular, word of mouth, greatest things ever, and then they made Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So it's like a spiritual thing to Demon Souls.
Yeah.
So it's very, like, similar on a lot of aspects, but
no. He says, like, thematically. So, like, was there, like, thematically an Age of Ancients?
In Demon Souls? Or?
Yeah. I think, no, but, like, there was, because they mentioned the first Scourge.
Well, yeah, that's when, with the Monumentals. So I don't know
So
how ancient it
they would
was.
have been. Well, people could have forgotten about it.
Yeah. Like, I don't picture it. I just don't picture anything that's super like, oh, it's only just dragons living there. I picture Demon Souls more like, I guess, like real world, like us, you know, like Earth.
Yeah.
And then this great one woken up, souls arts, and things go crazy. So, you know, maybe they had dinosaurs.
There's another questions here, like, do you think Elden Ring is going to be connected?
No.
Possibly in like even just a fan servicey way. It's from Prime
Oh well,
Directive.
maybe yeah, but like I think people are gonna try to connect all of them into one timeline, but I don't think they're meant to be connected.
This happened with when we did the trailer because you saw it and you're like moonlight sword reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's gonna be a moonlight sword.
There better be a moonlight sword, but they cannot top the Ludwig reveal. The Ludwig reveal was so good. Do you know how good it was? Because when I first played Bloodborne, I didn't play the other Souls games, so it just was like, oh my god, this is really cool. It was already cool. And then when I played the other Souls games, and even knowing the reveal, I was like, this is amazing. Like, chills every time. But they're never gonna top that. There's no way. They're never gonna top Bloodborne. Bloodborne is their masterpiece. They should just quit after. Like, this is how we end.
Okay. Sin, but
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But right.
Yeah.
That boss, who you like moonlight reveal fighting him, and then he says, "You were by my side all along, my true mentor, my guiding moonlight." And Ludwig comes out.
What?
And it's a two-way fight. He's fighting with Ludwig.
What?
And then when you get that Ludwig to phase 2, he says, "My true mentor, my guiding moonlight."
Is this a reference to Ashes
And then
of
when you beat
Ariandel?
that one, Dark Eden Midir appears. And you get the old moonlight from him, which is a Kingsfield reference. Which does imply, alright, the old moonlight spell in Dark Souls 3
Oh my god.
does imply that Kingsfield is in a similar universe, possibly some sort of multiverse shit going on.
Okay. You know what? If they do
Yes.
that, they can top it. Yes, you're right. That's the only way they can top the Ludwig thing.
No, Ludwig comes out and his introduction, he kills Maria. Oh!
Yeah.
This is something I learned from the Lore Hunter and I completely missed it.
Alright, what?
There's an interview with Miyazaki where he says that, like, the Elden Ring, right, it's not a ring.
Okay.
Because he says, like, the Elden Ring is actually, like, a concept that's holding the world together. It's like the Elden, like, everything is connected in a big ring. And it's like that has been shattered, like the thing that held it all together is not an actual ring.
But we mentioned that in one of our analysis.
I'm so relieved. I thought it was going to be an actual magic ring, and I was like,
Richie, usually this is me who's like, I don't remember anything we said. We mentioned this. We literally talked about this. Okay, maybe it was off cam, but we literally...
I don't remember it.
We literally talked about this. Richie.
I don't remember it.
Okay. But I'm glad that somebody else made you remember, because I'm not important. I'm glad you don't remember the conversations we have.
The cat's back.
Oh, hi Ingrid.
No, that's the other one.
Oh, hi the other one.
Ingrid's asleep in the clothes basket.
Aww.
This is the feral one that comes by and just eats food here.
Speaking of food, we're gonna have to wrap up because I'm getting hungry.
Well, do you wanna like we can do it like last time? You can go.
Well, wait. What time is it for you?
2:30.
It's getting a little late.
Who cares?
Late. Well, you care because then your schedule's all messed up.
Doesn't matter. I don't do anything.
But your schedule's gonna be messed up. You're not gonna feel good tomorrow. Because you're gonna be like, oh, I just didn't get enough sleep. I feel no good. Poor me. Pity me. Pity me for my decisions that I made.
There's a large amount of projection going on, so I don't recall ever actually saying that to you.
let's take a few more questions and.
Oh no, you can go get food.
No, for you because you need sleep. Oh my god!
Fine.
Everything I do for Richie.
I don't mind. I can stay up. It doesn't matter. It was up till 8 a.m. last time. This is
Yeah, that's a
pretty early.
problem. Oh my god!
I'm still alive.
Barely.
I didn't die. Up close came out. I didn't die. I look radiant.
I look radiant, the palest person I've seen in my fucking life. You look paler than me, and I haven't seen the light in a year.
I look Thumerian.
Yeah, it's true.
Switch Fairy's here. Hello.
What's up? Sin is directing right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, maybe we can talk about that horror movie we want to make. It's one of our many projects that Richie thinks we have nothing to do. We want to make a game, Queensfield.
Yeah.
And then we want to make a horror movie. But we have no concept yet.
No, okay, this is the problem. Got an idea for a film. We have no concept yet, but we'll figure something out when we get more interest. And then you have Queensfield, which is just you want there to be Kingsfield, but you just the enemies leave you alone.
Yeah. Is there anything to eat that I don't have to cook? Okay, let me ask boyfriend. Dear boyfriend, do we have any snacks that I don't have to cook? Question mark. Just a nice field, yeah, Scholar. Stick Ludwig in this horror movie, please. What if it's the moonlight sword that like stalks and kills people? That's a horror movie. Just running away from a sword.
There's a tokusatsu series called Ancient Dogu Girl, where one of the episodes is about people being stalked by a possessed bicycle. And it's like funny, but also sort of eerie because they'll be sitting there and then they'll just hear a bicycle bell and turn around and it's there.
But like, does the bicycle kill them or?
Yeah.
How?
It's the spirit of all the bicycles that were abandoned by people on the streets.
Okay, but how does a bicycle kill you?
I'm getting there. It's like, get on me, get on, and when you get on it, you can't get off, and it rides to hell. There's like this hellscape opens up, and the bike rides into it. You're like, ah! And you get
That's
pulled
very
into hell by the
smart.
bicycle.
So, you see, the bicycle's using its trait because I'm like, bicycle's not gonna kill me. Just lock it on the fucking shed. But if you get on it,
Okay, we have a question from Michael. Who is the lady in the rock at the end of Sekiro? So, that lady in the rock, I know that. I spoke. This is from Mimi, who knows everything about Sekiro. She's looked into it, and that character is referred to like as the bride.
Okay.
So it's I remember when it came, people thought it was like Takaro or Tomoe or something.
Yeah.
But like it's someone who was like, you know, the Fountainhead marriage thing.
Yeah.
That like it's someone who has entered into a marriage there and they've like fused into the rock or something like that. I'm worried about saying anything because Mimi knows everything about Sekiro, so if she sees it, she's like, no, bitch. So I mean, take everything I say with a grain of salt, but that character is called the bride.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go and warm up some mushroom soup.
Okay, I'll stay here with my buddies.
Okay. Don't talk about Reborn without me.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Reborn Season 2 is something we're going to be covering after this. I haven't really looked into it. I've seen the opening of Reborn Season 2 because there were these like Reborn opening compilations that used to be on YouTube. And when I watched them, like, the opening of 2 looks nothing like anything else. And then I would watch further into it, and by the final season of Reborn, it just looks like Bleach, but there's still a baby in a fedora who is, like, acting as a mentor to the main character, and I don't understand what Reborn is supposed to be anymore. It feels like they had a different idea for the series every like 6 episodes, and they're just doing all of them. I also know that it got progressively less popular as it went on, so it's possible that like they just toward the end. I think one of the seasons is 5 episodes long. So this didn't carry on. Fedoras. I actually have a fedora. It was really cheap. It was like $5. I got it on eBay, and I literally got it in like 2014 to do this like sarcastic like Meludu profile picture, and I still have it. And that profile picture was funny for about 5 minutes, and now it's gone. But the fedora itself continues to haunt me. It's probably in that cupboard over there. Okay, the Reborn manga was cancelled, right? Gurman versus Wolf. It's a good question because one's got one arm and one's got one leg, but doesn't seem to impair either of them. I feel like Wolf would probably beat Gurman, honestly, if we had to get down to it. Because I mean, Wolf would have like the firecrackers, which I think I can see Gurman being very vulnerable to those. Yeah, Wolf also, as Bedsheet points out, Wolf can revive on death. Gurman gets to die once. What do you guys think the weird molten stone in the Hunter's Nightmare is? Oh, okay, so that's like... It looks like striations on muscle. It's like that. And I think that's just there to sort of cue you in that like the nightmare is mutable. The nightmare is changing. So you see like it's like things that have solid form, like Erden Chapel and stuff, but they're sort of mixed with this like weird, colors like metamorphic rock. This like almost it looks. I think it's very deliberate that it looks like muscle. It's like almost like a body part, like blood or something, sort of fusing and squidging into different shapes. So there we go. What's the deal with the giant hand enemies in the profaned capital? Well, you'd never guess, but they were for God's grave as well. The reason they look like Manus is that they were supposed to be Manus enemies for the Manus area that the game didn't use. So, that's why they look the way they do. And like, I don't know the rest they have a body that's just basically a hippo with a hand for a head. I mean, they make sense. I don't know. That's fine. Oh, muscle. Yeah. If you look at the if you think of like close up of muscle, where the muscle has, I'm going to cut my arm open, obviously, again, but it's got all these like striations along it. Yeah, that's the point. Bedsheet's right. This is what we were getting at before. That like, attempting to sort of like, if you can't like stare at Dark Souls 3 things and expect it all to cohere, because the answer is like, a lot of these assets were made for somewhere that doesn't exist anymore. Why is Profane Capital so boring? Profane Capital, as far as we can tell, used to be really significant, and then they didn't. They moved it. But yeah, Profaned Capital looks like we've gone over. I may as well go over it again while Sin's gone. But like it looks like the initial idea behind the Profaned Capital was that when behind the dancer in Lothric, there's the basin, and then you use the basin, the knight goes, and the blood goes into the basin that opens it. It looks like initially the basin would not fill on its own; you had to bring it blood, and the blood would be in the Profaned Capital. So you would have to go down all the way to the Profaned Capital, and there'd be something there. Probably because it's like this dark abyss area, there would be like Dark Soul tainted blood. Again, going back to like reuse shit that was in the DLC. The blood of the Dark Soul. It's like in the DLC, sort of just comes out at the end, like Uncle Gale needs the blood of the Dark Soul. Sort of throws out of nowhere, but it looks like initially that was actually like kind of the MacGuffin of the story was the blood of the Dark Soul. You have to go and get the blood of the Dark Soul from the Profane Capital, bring it up, put it in the basin, and then that opens up the second half of Lothric. And it was something to do with like how Lorien and Lothric are the Dark Princes, so they within them have the blood of the Dark Soul. So like their blood is supposed to open the way, but you can also get this other blood, something like that. And yeah, like you're right, like it was supposed to be a reveal, and we never got the reveal because it was like It would have been a mid-game area, essentially, from what I can tell. A lot of this is all prefaced with "from what I can tell" because I don't know. But like, it looks like the progression would have been you would go from the undead settlement down into the profaned capital, possibly via Carthus, I'm not sure, down to the profaned capital. And then at the bottom of the profaned capital, you would end up in prison. And I'm not sure how that worked. I think it may actually have been those red guys with the things on their backs would have put you there. Instead of just putting you in the pit, they would have actually taken you to the Irithyll dungeon, which wasn't in Irithyll at this point. And you would be there, and then while you were there, you would find the blood of the Dark Soul in the profaned capital, and you'd bring it back up. And then when you had it, you'd bring it to the dancer's room, and then that would go, and then you would be able to go to the second part of Lothric. And like at this point, Lothric, the like Lorien and Lothric, that was more like Ornstein and Smo. It was like this sort of thing that gated off the end game, if that makes sense. Like, instead of them being like, these are the Lords of Cinder you must defeat, it's like they're actually guarding the end game. So you would have get the blood, go fight Lorien and Lothric, kill Lorien and Lothric, and then that would unlock like the deacons, the wolf, Yorm, and the other one.
Hello.
Nameless King.
Hi.
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 I got mushroom soup. It's from
Yay.
a can. It's very convenient.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wolnir was in. This is getting confusing because Wolnir was called the Lonesome King of the Profaned Capital in the early stuff.
Oh no.
And that's how he's referred to in all the notes. So you see Lonesome King of the Profaned Capital, and you're not sure if that's meant to be Wolnir or Yorm. You have to sort of contextualize. It's all over the place. Oseros was in God's grave. This is how confusing it was. Oseros is in God's grave. He's not called Oseros. He's called Dragon Angel, and he has, but he still has the dialogue about Ocelot being the child of dragons.
Yeah, because Miyazaki would not pass up an occasion to have a dead baby. There was a dead. Did people see the dead baby?
What do you mean?
The Lance or
The people watching, or
anyone like Lance or someone restored the dead baby.
Yeah, Lance and Stana restored it.
Stana, yeah, it was it was disturbing. Even for Miyazaki, like really, it's a dead baby right there, Miyazaki.
Is that going to be the free space on Elden Ring bingo?
Yes, dead baby.
Yeah.
One will be like dead baby, another one's like many dead babies.
Do you think there'll be a swamp?
I was just thinking that, or dead swamp filled with dead babies. God, Miyazaki, I can't. Sometimes I think about all the dead babies and it gives me a little bit of anxiety. Like, Jesus Christ. Okay. So what'd you talk about?
Dark Souls. Okay, some other questions. How much is known about Blood of a Sage from Bloodborne? Nothing. Other than, like, it was basically in early versions of Bloodborne, instead of saying seek pale blood, the note would say seek the blood of a sage, and it was from Lawrence, who was at this point your friend, not... I hate that they reuse names. It was a note left by your friend, who you spent the game looking for, would say seek the blood of the sage, but, like, that's all we know about it. And then, like, Jean is asking, did you play or know about Vampire the Masquerade? I did, because my high school role-playing group wanted to do Vampire the Masquerade after we finished with D&D. And, but, like, high school had ended by the time we actually got there. And then it was like, well, we're not. I sort of, like, moved away at that point, so we didn't really...
Yeah. I didn't know anything about it.
I knew what it was.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, but my boyfriend played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Leon points out the Yharnam Stone is called Final Chalice of the Great Beyond. Yeah, that's something Lance has dug up as well. It's like, yeah, there was something about it's called Final Chalice of the Deepest Depths, something like that. And that would have been the item you got from Queen Yharnam initially. It's all over the place. Like, again, when we talk about things that were added later on, Queen Yharnam added pretty late. Like, she's a recycled boss called Thumerian Bride. They made her into Queen Yharnam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Switch Fairy, the birthday is... Sin's birthday is the 29th, and mine is the 9th of April, so during this period, Sin just says it's, like, our birthday together. You know, in Ballarat where I live, we had a thing called Dancing with Our Stars, where local celebrities did this like dance contest thing.
That's cute. Were you in
it? No. It was streamed live, and it got fewer views than we get with you just eating mushrooms.
Darn. They should hire us to do promotion for the next one. They should sponsor us.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, for people who are here, hi, welcome. If you're new to this channel, whenever I say that, I always have a picture of Richie in my mind being like, who would stumble upon this, and if they did, they would leave by now. Nobody's new here. So, either way, I just posted a link to our session of Vampire the Masquerade. That's what the question was about.
Yes, it's very good. You did a very good job.
You did a very good job. It was actually really fun.
You did a good job editing it, because I remember when you were watching it, like, I am so cringe in this, Richard, I'm cringe! And you were like, oh, these are terrible! But then you made it into a joke with like the little loading bar and everything, and you edited a lot of it out. You like added the cartoon filter and everything. You did a really good job making it work.
Thank you.
Because the raw footage is basically like.
Yeah.
But even that worked because you were meant to be from Russia, so it's like. You're just a foreigner who's...
Thank you.
I had a friend who went to Japan, and he didn't really learn any Japanese, and he didn't learn where he was supposed to be in Japan, so his time in Japan largely consisted of walking around the streets drinking Yakult.
That's cool.
Hello, Blood Snake. They said greetings from Finland.
Blood Snake? So there's Solid Snake, there's Water Snake, there's Solid Snake, and there's Blood Snake.
Yeah. People are saying sin eye reveal.
I reveal.
Finally.
Okay, so what do I say to those people, Richie?
They're not true fans because they didn't watch you stream outside of this.
3 years. 3 years I've been streaming outside of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm streaming Dishonored now again.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. I'm doing it on super hard. Never done that before. Yeah. But that means I have to kill everyone.
Is that super hard? Is you have to kill everyone, or you're killing everyone because it's on super hard, you want to make sure they don't find you?
Yeah. The second one.
What are our thoughts on the COVID vaccine? It's good, because COVID bad.
COVID bad. we started, I think here, a lot of the people, like vulnerable people, got the vaccines.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. The
So that's-
older people are getting it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know when the regular people can start getting it. It's a little bit of a mess. But again, like I feel kind of like I guess I'll be in the last people if it ever comes back cuz I'm like, I'm young, I'm healthy, like
healthy.
Well, you know what I mean? Like yeah,
Boyfriend.
I feel like someone
Let's get more McDonald's.
I feel,
Boyfriend. That's my impression of Sin when we're talking.
So I feel like somebody who's more vulnerable should probably get
Yeah,
it first,
yeah,
since I
yeah.
probably have a higher
Yeah.
chance of not dying. from it.
Although you might
Yeah.
qualify because you work with older people in rest homes, so they might think you got to get it because you're going to be in touch with
Well,
them.
that's the thing. That's why we've been staying home. That project is actually on hold,
Right.
so that's why we're like not.
Right.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, the whole thing is just so sad.
Mm.
I'm so like anxious for the rest of the world. Because by some magic, I work with my researcher, my boss. She's just so smart and so with it. I still have a job by some amazing magic, like on so
Right.
many, on every level. Like COVID wanted to
Right.
destroy our lab, it didn't. And then the institution that paid my checks decided that, because my boss doesn't pay me directly, it's a grant, right, through somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
They kind of decided that after 3 years, because they made some changes, even though I have over 10 years of research experience in research
Yeah.
assistant, I'm no longer qualified to be a research assistant in their institution.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well, when your contract is up, bye. And I'm like, what? Well, listen, you don't have a master's. And I'm like, literally over 10-year experience, been doing this job for 3 years, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, no, you need a master's.
Now Sin.
Yeah.
It's all very good that you work well in practice, but you don't work in theory, and that's what counts.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it just makes it's so frustrating because on so many levels it makes zero sense. Like, let's say I get fired from the project. If you get a master's student to replace me, first of all, they probably need to be trained for at least 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
On the other project that's like in and out, and then they probably need to get another 6-month training on the free 3, 4, 5, 6 systematic reviews that I'm working on. So you're just gonna be training this person for a year who's more qualified than me because I have a master's. Fun fact. I actually gave a couple of tutorials to the master's students that our boss teaches. So another fun fact. Another interesting fact, but I'm not qualified to do my job. I've been doing it for 3 years.
Yeah.
Even
You know
though
the worst part is I'm qualified to do your job.
Holy shit, because you got a fucking PhD.
Yeah, I
You're
can do
like-
your job, and I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I have had no experience with your job. I couldn't do it at all,
Like-
and yet, according to the rules, I can do it better than you.
Yeah, because you have more. Holy shit. You'd get paid more than me, too. If they hired you tomorrow, you'd probably get
Yeah.
a bigger salary. Holy shit.
Yeah. Get me their number, because I mean, I got nothing going on, and I'll happily move to Canada. We'll work in the same lab.
Holy shit. Oh, there's gonna be so much resentment. Can you believe it? Because it's just come in, you're like, I'm getting twice everybody's salary. Please teach me for the
Hi.
next year how to do y'all's job. Thank you.
It's okay, I'd give it to you.
No, it would actually be good. I wouldn't mind since it's you. You know when it's like your friends and like people you
Yeah,
love, you don't
yeah.
give a fuck. They can get 10 times my salary, whatever. It's people I love. Who gives a fuck? But yeah, but again, thanks to my boss, I was basically hired for the same job that I do now through another institution.
Yeah.
But the only thing was that I got a little pay cut because their salary scales are different. So basically, that's the story. This year I got a pay cut. Like, this is so stupid. But it's okay. At least I still have a job. I'm grateful for that. My boss fought very hard for me.
Oh, Bloodsnake wants to know more Bloodborne model viewers coming. Basically, we're thinking of stuff to do for Return to Yharnam, because, like, we're not just gonna play through the game again. Because we already kind of did that.
Well,
so like
yeah, probably.
I have like a little presentation I could kind of do on a removed area.
Richie,
Yeah.
this is Richie. Yes or no question, and Richie goes in for 5 fucking. Yes or no? The answer is yes. We will do it. We just need the
This is why I got a PhD though, because they cannot answer yes or no questions.
Yes, more Bloodborne model viewer videos are coming, but with everything...
Consider the contradiction we find ourselves in.
The thing is, we have things to record and things that are scheduled. And on top of it, like, because we love to have people on our podcasts, but again, that's like, you know, so certain things like the model viewer, we were planning to do it for a while, just kind of gets pushed back because there are other things that are already scheduled that we gotta do first. So that's,
but
yeah.
What I'm getting at is, like, for Return to Yharnam, which is, for reference, Return to Yharnam is it's an annual thing. It's the 24th of March, which is in a few days. We don't want to just play through Bloodborne again because we've already done that a bunch. There's nothing really new to show off. So
I disagree,
we want to do
okay.
some more like esoteric stuff. So Model Viewer might be there just because I think like people have had their fill of watching us blunder through Yharnam.
I disagree. I think there's a lot.
I think we had a perfect arc with our Bloodborne stream because it started with you lying that you had no problem beating Orphan of Kos, and then turning out that you actually you couldn't beat Orphan of Kos, and you were trapping me in there to beat it for you on stream, which was revealed when I beat Orphan of Kos, and you got and you. It was like, I have no problem beating. Oh, it's fine. I've done it before, and then I beat it on stream, and the trophy pops.
I feel like PlayStation betrayed me.
But then you remember. Last time we did Return to Yharnam, who was it who actually landed the finishing blow on Orphan of Kos?
Was it me?
Yes, you are the one who struck the final blow on Orphan of Kos. So are you saying
I beat Orphan of Kos all by myself?
Yes, all by yourself. Mostly.
I'm Kojima. All by myself.
Orphan of Kos all by yourself. If you discount the previous, I think 4.5 minutes. It's not canon.
I also beat Logarius all by myself.
It's true.
Seath.
Yeah.
I like to tell the story where the queen, Annalise, was so impressed with my skills she married me. Somebody said that they've been following this channel for 2 weeks.
That was Blood Snake.
I don't know if... that seems kind of unacceptable. I don't know if you should be here 2 weeks. I feel like... Are you sure this is okay? Do you understand what's happening? It can all be very confusing.
Normal. It's all like this. I'm sorry.
Maybe they're looking at the good videos. Maybe it's like, oh, Sinclair's Wet Nurse and Bloodborne Up Close.
Yeah. The thing about this channel is it is a Souls-like. That's why it's so appealing. Because the worthwhile content is there.
Blood Snake is like, sorry, bye.
You have to really struggle to get there. And a lot of it's like, it's not fun, it's very frustrating. You spend a lot of time going around in circles, you wonder why you're doing it, you quit, you come back, you get angry, you like unsubscribe a couple of months, like, oh god, I'll give another fucking shot. And then you're just sort of angry and depressed for a lot of it. But then at the end of it, there's that sort of glimmer of like, oh yeah, I made it to the end of one of their videos. And I learned something.
Yeah.
That's the appeal of this channel to true gamers.
Yeah.
And if you have a problem with us, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to get good.
Souls fans are used to struggle.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm always a little uneasy when someone's like, I've been watching your channel for 2 days. And I'm like, this is either
remember when we got about 25 new subscribers from the Elden Ring video, and then the next thing we did was one of these, and they showed up and saw me and just said yuck and unsubscribed.
I don't think so. I don't think that's how it went. I disagree.
Actually, they literally said like, that's what the guy looks like, and that was the end of it.
something about stoves, right? Okay, Blonde Snake is one of us. It's okay. They get it. They're not confused. This is not disorienting for them. We don't have to call an ambulance. It's okay. No, actually, we actually had somebody who joined, because we also have a Discord, by the way. I can post a link if anybody wants to join.
Yeah.
And somebody joined, and they were very, very, like, cool and positive, and it's like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, it's nice to see people join on Discord. And then they were like, yeah, and they were like, I think they were like talking about references, like, Brutus, just like, and you think, oh, this is like a long timer that just joined, and they're like, no, I saw your Elden Ring analysis, and I watched your other videos, they're very good.
Oh, yay.
It's like, oh, wow, that's cool. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Very, very sweet.
A lot of dick pickles. I can't remember when I started watching. I think a lot of people have that relationship.
Yeah.
It's like a strange sort of like fugue state, and then you realize you're subscribed.
Yeah. No, but it's really cool.
Hi,
because...
Freeman.
Hi. The channel went through a thing where before, when I just started it was like a very small channel, like with very like good lore, actually, good production values.
It was
good
excellent.
video.
Yeah.
You know, the Wet Nurse is like at 100k views.
Yeah.
So what I could have been, Richie. I
You
was
know,
on the
we
rise
broke-
before you joined. Yes.
Okay, you weren't actually, because the 100k views happened like in the last year.
No. It was the Wet Nurse. You don't try to tell me things that I know. Okay, I made one Wet Nurse video which was worse than this, and it was like it got like 20k views in like a month. And I was like, I can't, it's not good, so I removed it completely. I reworked the video for a long time, and then I reposted it, and it was good, and it was just a steady thing, like people are watching it, people are looking for it. And that's what the channel was gonna be. Good stuff. But anyway, regardless, the channel was very small, and a lot of very positive people found it. Such as Philomena, because she was like, oh my god, there's Lauren, English, French, and Russian, that's so cute, I'll join. And then Autumn, because she's like, oh my god, that's so cute, I'll join. Then you don't remember Hedgie, but again, Mittens, Hedgie, all like really cool, positive people joined the channel.
I remember Mittens and Hedgie.
You do remember? Oh, Hedgie was our very first
I-
patron, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, that was before you even joined. Basically, he was just like the very first, the original. Anyway, so then,
The
then I contacted you. We did a podcast together, and this after we did a couple of podcasts, some negativity started coming my way. Such as, this bitch needs to shut the fuck up, and this bitch does not contribute anything to the conversation. Richie, what are you doing with this bitch? Go back to your own channel.
No.
So on and so forth. But then I think those people just kind of left. They just got tired. They were like, Rich is not going back to 2015. We're so sad.
Sin was very polite at first.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone's asking... Oh, I may mean to just ignore your questions. The chat goes by really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I actually can't... Like, I'm trying to keep track of it. I just can't.
Yeah.
So... Where's the best place? This is from Dick Pickle. Where do you find Bloodborne models? So
on the runway. Bloodborne models.
Yeah. So what I have is I have all of Bloodborne exported. Like I have unpacked the game, and I have just extracted all the models from that. That's where I got them from. There is, I think if you look on DeviantArt, people might have done it, but like, that's where I didn't download them from somewhere. It's literally, I'm just literally extracting them from the game and looking at them that way. Yeah.
But I wasn't finished with my story. So then there was all these mean comments, and I was very, very like, Jesus, anxiety. Every time we'd upload an fucking podcast, like anxiety. But then it like stopped. And then cool people started coming. People started finding our channel. But another thing that happened, which I'm really happy about, is some of the people who disliked the content kind of were like, you know what? It's not that bad. They kind of got used to it. And they became very positive. I feel like we created their children. Positive children.
Yeah.
So, so in the end, it's good. Everything turned out okay.
Yeah.
Except when you upload a Bloodborne up close.
Yeah, then they come back out of the woodwork, and it's a mixture of like, finally that dumb bitch isn't talking, and well done, Richie, but actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, actually, that's right.
I really blew up at someone who left it. Well, actually, then deleted it, but Vodka saw it because I screen capped it and sent it to her.
Oh, yeah. But we gotta keep in mind, regardless of the negativity, like most of the interactions we have with people are very positive and very encouraging, very supportive.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun to do. The podcasts are fun to record. They're fun to edit. So.
Raffi says they love Bloodborne up close, but they miss you.
They're lying. They just heard me do this whole speech, and they're like, "Oh crap! Better make her feel better." Okay, it's fine. She's okay.
Everyone misses you.
Nah. I'm only in 700 episodes of this. But I think our best work is the Eye Hunt and the Vampire the Masquerade. Has everybody seen the Eye Hunt thing?
I thought you were gonna say our best work is Reborn.
Well, it's technically it hasn't been reposted yet, but yes, that too.
Yeah. You keep telling me that.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very funny. It's very cute. I really love it.
You're improvisational genius, and you'll let cause you love Reborn.
Rex is like, I'm not.
No, and I was trying to be nice to you, and I was like, no, I did the Reborn thing because we're like best friends, and anything that I do with you is good and worthwhile, and you're just like, no, just because you love Reborn, bitch.
Yeah.
I Hunt is a tabletop RPG that we did a game of it with Philomena, who actually was the game designer.
Yeah.
So it was incredible that we had like the designer of the game as the game master.
Yeah, it's like if Todd Howard comes over when you're playing your Fallout tabletop RPG and is like, I got this.
Well, it's more like if one of those Gary Gygax designed D&D modules that existed purely to kill you was run by Gary, but he was trying to be nice this time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we have another. I don't know if you know about this little series we started, but because we have nothing to record, we had to postpone it.
I don't even know what this is going to be.
Dignity City University.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a bunch of podcasts planned out, but like, we also had enemies of Bloodborne, locations of Bloodborne, and just critters.
Bloodborne's of Bloodborne.
Oh, Bloodborne's of Bloodborne. So check it out. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really, really good. It's really neat, I think.
Nina's saying that they love they love the RPGs we do together.
Thank you, Nino.
Mm-hmm.
We actually did Vials of Bloodborne. That's another thing we started for Patreon that was items of Bloodborne, but then we discovered it was redundant because we were already doing something similar. And so we're like, okay, never mind. We'll have to rework it.
I have no memory of any of this.
Is it the one where we started talking about some movies at some point? I think I meant. Let me
The problem is that there is absolutely no difference between what we record and just conversations that we have had. So I don't remember. When you said we talked about movies, I don't know.
Okay, I found it. I found it.
The reason we are able to make so many of these is that there is no difference. We don't need to rehearse anything. We just need to start talking, and it's just this.
Yeah.
Which also means all of our just normal conversations are this, which is why certain things from those conversations bleed over into the channel and we don't notice, such as Nostradamus the Vampire.
Thank you, Richie. I actually posted the Vials episode on in the chat. Yeah, it was the niche. I don't even know what the story is, but for some reason we had to rethink this whole thing that we wanted to do, and I don't remember why. But yeah.
Yeah.
If you could choose any Soulsborne name for yourself, what would you choose?
You mean like a boss title or something?
Or like
Sorry,
the
mate.
name from literally game, or just make one up?
I think it means like if you were like Sin, the queen of snacks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, can I be the slug princess? Because she was cut.
Yeah, I think so.
I have a lot of slugs.
Yeah.
I had to make a separate container for them.
Somebody just had the most brilliant idea I've heard in my life. Letters of Bloodborne.
The what?
Letters of Bloodborne. Because you can, like, describe it. Where does it come from? Where does it lead? What parts does it connect?
Yeah.
At what point?
Scholar wants to see my slugs.
Yeah, where are they?
Well, the problem is they're a little too far away from me. They're back there.
Okay.
I have 2 terrariums and an aquarium, and the terrariums they're plants I got from like they're proper indoor plants, but the soil is soil from the yard. So when I put the soil in there, because it was from the yard, it already had it had seeds in it, and it had slug eggs in it. So basically, after about a week, all these little shoots were growing up out of the ground, which was nice because I was getting all the grass seeds, but also slugs were showing up. And the thing about slugs is they do not stop breeding. If there is nothing to eat them, which there isn't, because slugs are hermaphrodites and they can just reproduce constantly. So they just lay a ton of eggs, they all hatch, all those slugs start fucking, they produce a whole lot of eggs, and it never stops. So what I've had to do is, because people are aware of my mollusk fixation, so I didn't want to actually get rid of them, and I didn't want to poison them at all, because it would have been terrible. But what I've done is I've reached a halfway kind of compromise with the slugs, which is that I have a separate container, which I put lettuce in, and that has copper tape wrapped around it, so because if slugs touch copper, they have this terrible reaction and they turn around and go back down again, so they can't get out. And if I see any slugs crawling up the sides, I sort of pick them up and I put them in the container, and then every couple, because there's lettuce in there, it's fine. Every couple of days, I just let all the ones in the container out, and that kind of controls the population.
Mm-hmm. Richie.
Yes.
You said something about soil, slugs, and yard, and I had a vision, but I didn't want to interrupt you. May I express my vision now?
Certainly, sir.
My soil brings all the slugs to the yard. Thank you.
It's cooking.
I would definitely cut that out.
Yeah, I'll just show off because I've got. Hang on, you can see I have a whole snail motif along here.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Yeah. Oh god, this is so because it's all reversed when I use it. There you go. Actually, hang on. I'll turn off my light because it makes them show up better because they light up. Hang on. You can see there's these snail sculptures along there, and then there's the snail shrine up there, and then various other snails around. Did I ever play Stellaris? I have not played Stellaris.
No.
No.
All Alright, well, it's like 3 a.m. I think it's time we can. It's been going for 3+ hours.
Don't you have work to do?
I might have to do it next weekend. I was like, can't. I need sleep. I need to relax my brain from my work. Oh, I know what another product we can talk about that's not sponsoring us.
Alright.
Have you heard of Dream Water?
Oh, this is stuff that you're drinking to
Yeah,
actually
it's
sleep,
been
like a
it's
normal
actually been
person.
helping me sleep. It's like it's fairly expensive though, so it's like you can't drink it every day. Also, you probably, I don't know if you get addicted to that stuff. I'm not sure, but it's basically something that's supposed to that calms your nervous system or whatever, but also has some melatonin in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, it works. Dream Water works, and it says like you're gonna fall asleep in about half an hour. Yeah, half an hour after drinking it, you feel really sleepy. You're like, oh my god, I have not felt this feeling of sleep in so long.
Right.
And then you
right.
sleep through the night, and you wake up rested, which has not happened in like years.
Right.
And it's amazing. So if you're having trouble sleeping, maybe try some Dream Water.
Yeah. Or in
Changed
my
my
case,
life.
try estrogen. Yeah.
Or that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're drinking potions. Potion seller! My potions are too strong for you, traveler. You cannot handle my potions.
I'm glad that you've discovered that meme that 10 years after.
Yeah, it was very cool. The guy posted more stuff during the pandemic. Did I send it to you?
Oh, good. No.
It's
no.
really.
I mean,
it's
yes,
really...
you did.
Richie? It's very funny. I can't, like, he sings a lot. I can't sing it, but it's very funny. His, like, it's very cute.
Yeah.
Just in taking sedatives, pretty much. Yeah. I don't know if other people, I think, okay, I'm gonna assume every millennial has this problem where they have a hard time falling asleep because once they're alone in a dark room with their thoughts.
That was me. That was me until late 2019.
It's like, can't sleep. The thoughts are in my head. We're not sleeping tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, with a cocktail of spironolactone and estradiol, that went away.
Oh, that's good. It's very, very good. Are there anything? So, what is that?
That's Ingrid sneezing.
Cute. Cute.
It's not really, because then what will happen is she'll come in and sit on top of me and while I'm asleep and going and I'll just wake up covered in cat spit. And she's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, Graham, that's the one. Yeah. But another thing I've been trying that's cheaper is these melatonin gummies.
Right.
But the problem is I don't know if it's just me, they don't kick in, like, it takes like a couple of hours for them to kick in.
Right.
And then when you wake up, you're like very out of it. You're like, oh, can't wake up. You sleep through the night, you eventually fall asleep, sleep through the night, that's good. But then when you wake up, you're like, what the fuck? So, yeah.
My problem with sleeping and listening to music or audiobooks is that because I have a defined structure to them, I'm aware how long I've been listening to it for. So like, I won't listen to this because I know that like this section is an hour long. So I know that by the time it ends, it will have been an hour. And I'm like, oh shit, I can't sleep now. Because I'm like, oh god, it's almost over, I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
cannabis gummies are becoming fairly ubiquitous in US. You know, the problem is I've never really tried cannabis, so I don't know how I would react, you know, to that. So it's not like maybe, I don't know.
I mean, it does make you hungry.
So instead of sleeping, I'll just be eating all night. Yeah. Another thing that puts you to sleep eventually is Japanese slippers, but they're also very expensive.
Well, it puts you to sleep, but the path to getting to sleep involves lots of yelling at me. Can I do it? This is you want a Japanese slipper. It was like,
Richard, I'm at my boyfriend's parents' place, and there's a big block of cheese in the fridge. But if I eat it, they'll know it was me.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know, the only, like, Japanese slippers and, like, bubbly stuff, sweet bubbly things are the only things I like drinking. I don't like vodka, I don't like,
don't say what she's in
wine.
chat. Don't say that.
What a shady bitch. Yeah, so I don't know. Do you like any alcohols?
Not really.
Only Japanese slippers and like sweet bubbly stuff.
I'm like, I don't like alcohol except this really alcoholic thing I drink all the time.
Not all the time. It's very expensive. Okay, I'll be honest. The only reason I don't drink it all the time is because it's so expensive. A bottle is like, it takes 2 bottles and they're like almost $40 each.
Yeah, I know. I see them when I'm at the supermarket.
Like,
they
you
have
can't-
the Midori behind the counter, and I just think,
That's why.
is this where
when
the
was-
Patreon goes?
Yeah, but when was the last time I drank it? Like last year? This is why. Maybe next week. Maybe I'll get some for my birthday.
I feel like, you know what? Okay, I think that I'll have to make a Japanese slipper and eat poutine.
Yeah.
As a, like,
Yes, as
yeah.
an homage.
so we can truly be together.
Oh, what is an Australian
I know.
thing I could do?
This will be racist. I don't know.
Oh my god.
It's mostly just like biscuits. You can have fairy bread.
No. What? A fairy
Yeah,
bread?
fairy bread. It's literally just white bread with butter and then sprinkles.
What the fuck? I'm sorry. Like
You serve it at kids' birthday parties.
because you don't know how to make
know-
cupcakes?
I think basically like you can't afford
I love
cupcakes.
it.
So
I
then
love
what I
it.
have to make them just put it on some bread. I don't know.
At first, I had my reservations, but I now love it. Just like
Yeah.
it's simple. It's cute.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at it now.
It is.
Yeah,
And you can refer to breakfast as brekkie.
yeah. Somebody made
And you can-
rolls. There we go.
Go to Burger King and call it Hungry Jack's.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Sugar sandwiches.
It's a sugar sandwich.
This is okay. This is cool. I could live with that.
Okay.
I'll do that.
What else do we have? We have I think of something you could make yourself.
Oh, this stupid thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say stupid. Don't want to insult your culture.
It's not my culture.
The thing, it's like this. I don't know. I think it's brown or green, and you put it on toast, and then whenever YouTubers try
Vegemite.
it, yeah, they don't like it.
Yeah, I don't think you will like it.
What is it again?
It's
Like-
it's paste made out of yeast.
What does it taste like?
It tastes vodka's had the UK version, which is Marmite. It's so salty.
It's salty.
It's like if you imagine peanut butter, like the consistency and texture of peanut butter, but it's just like salt, like the saltiest thing.
Why has it been PvPing? Get it? It's been PvPing.
Yeah,
salty.
yeah. So basically, like, chat is sort of split between I love it and I hate it. And like it, no, but that's true. It's like it's something. If you grew up eating it,
Mhm.
you will like it. If you've never tried it before, it is like the most revolting thing imaginable.
Oh my god. Yeah. I guess it's like
Yeah.
Russian meat jello.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah, you see? If you've never tasted it, you're probably gonna be like, what?
Mm.
Alright, let me Google.
But yeah, I
yeah.
I cannot freaking stand Vegemite.
Aw.
But like my brother and my father eat it all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
They say that I just Google. Okay, 40 dishes, 40 Australian dishes. Okay.
Okay, let's go through.
Wait, witchery grubs? What is that?
Yeah,
Oh my god, it's a
grub or
grub! Oh
the
my
grub
God.
or the
No.
the candy.
Do you know what happened? It's because I don't know why
What?
this picture took a second to load, and I thought it was a croissant. But when it looked at me, it's literal. It's an insect.
Yeah. So I've had those,
Okay.
even though I'm a vegetarian. I have had fried grubs, and they don't taste like anything. It's basically like tofu. They're just caterpillars.
Okay.
You fry them. There's witchetty grub candy you can get that's like just candy in the shape of a witchetty grub, and they're like really
Okay.
popular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Another thing on this list that I'm not gonna try is emu.
Yeah.
Isn't like emu a pet?
It's a bird. It's like an ostrich.
Oh, yeah, okay. Macadamia nuts. They're kind of expensive though, so no.
Yeah,
Sorry, Rich,
yeah.
I don't love you that much.
I guarantee I don't eat any of the things on this list.
Damper?
Oh yeah, damper is just basically bread without yeast. It's just flour and water.
Okay.
You're supposed to, you cook it like if you're like out in the bush and you don't have access to other ingredients.
Okay.
It's very hard. It's very like hard
Okay.
bread. Yeah.
Maybe I could make that. Pea and ham soup. Is it good? I feel like my dad makes pea and ham soup, and I wouldn't say it's as bad as dishwater soup, but it's
Yeah.
not my favorite.
Right.
Wheat Bix?
Oh, Wheat Bix. Yeah.
What is that?
They're just cereal.
Oh.
They're just like a whole lot of shredded wheat in like a rectangle.
We didn't have cereal in the Soviet Union, so I've never got used to it. I can't.
Did you never have cereal?
We didn't. In the Soviet Union, there was no cereal. So when we came to Canada, it's like, oh, cereal for breakfast. And
What did you have for breakfast?
like, I don't know, a sandwich, like normal food. But I
Okay.
could, it's just like you try it and it's like cold milk with crunchy cardboard.
Yeah, I hate
can't.
cereal, so I feel like I would have got on quite well
Yeah.
in the Union.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and again, my boyfriend loves cereal. We have like cereals in the kitchen right now that he eats, and I'm like, no, I can't. It's all for you, my love. It's all for you.
Mm.
Sometimes my
I
mother
know
buys
people
us,
who
yeah.
eat cereal like during the day, like for meals, like for lunch and stuff like that.
And maybe if you warm it up.
No, they have the really sugary stuff, so it's
Oh.
basically just
I
like
guess,
eating candy.
you know what it could be? Maybe at this point you're addicted. Maybe my boyfriend's addicted to the sugar.
Possibly.
Yeah, sometimes my mom buys us like fancy cereal boxes, and I'm like, thanks, mom, but my boyfriend eats it all. I don't.
Remember the Irate Gamers classic breakfast cereal rants?
No.
I feel like we can bring that back.
Okay. 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 Lamingtons?
Yeah, they're like a cake.
Okay.
You probably like those. They're just like a sweet cake with like jam in the middle.
Okay. Salt and pepper calamari? Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, you're probably yeah. Sorry.
You don't like it?
Well, I don't eat calamari.
Oh, that's true. Neither does my boyfriend. He doesn't like that whole texture seafood. Not into it.
So it's the opposite of like I'm a vegetarian but I eat fish. He's like I'm not a vegetarian but I don't eat fish.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Lamb leg roast. I don't like lamb.
Lamb is a big deal here. It's like really patriotic.
Oh yeah? Why?
It just is, and like whenever we have Australia Day, which is our equivalent, it's like if the 4th of July and Columbus Day were the same day, so twice as bad as you might imagine. There's this big debate. You gotta eat lamb, and there's all these like terrible ads on TV where it's like, gotta be a real Aussie and have your lamb. And I'm just like, no way.
It's funny because sometimes my parents would like trick me into eating lamb. I guess, I don't know, iron? I have no idea. Like, I'm not a vegetarian or anything. They just know I don't like lamb. And they'd be like, this is not lamb, this is pork. Okay, well, why does it taste like lamb, Mom? I don't know. I don't know.
Remember our very, very early Erden Chapel Dweller episode?
Yeah.
And then the thumbnail is a shop called Lamb on Chapel.
Yeah!
Yeah, because that's a shop near my old campus I used to walk by.
Oh. Cool. Fish and chips by the beach. Fish and chips by the pool. That sounds doable. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
You got a pool?
Yeah, I got it. It's right there. It's still standing. We don't know how long it's going to be standing for. It's starting to look a little sketchy, but it's there now.
Okay.
John Dory Filet? What is that?
No idea.
Let me Google it. It's
be some fish
number...
thing.
listen, number 29 on this list.
Have I eaten kangaroo? No, I have not. I'm actually a vegetarian. I did eat the grubs. I have like a weird grey area when it comes to sort of bugs and stuff, because I'm fully aware of the fact that throughout the day I probably kill hundreds and hundreds of bugs. Just by like walking around. So I'm a bit like, oh, it's not like, I'm not really adding to the suffering, really. Also, they probably don't have a developed enough sense of self to actually experience like pain in the way that animals do.
Yeah.
Have I played with veganism? Not really. I probably could do it. Because most of what I have doesn't have animal products in it anyway, because I mostly eat a lot of like beans and like stuff like that. The problem is like I do a lot of baking and cooking that involves milk and butter. So I don't think I could ever do like veganism for that reason.
Yeah. Pablo donated 20 ARS dollars.
Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you. That's like a fourth of a chocolate bar. So if we could get a whole chocolate bar by the end of
That's actually that's how I understand Redbubble payments now as well.
Yeah.
Because I bought some clothes from Mel, and I said to her like, oh yeah, like check your account because you might have a little bit more, and she's like, yeah, I can probably buy a Toblerone with this. So I'm like, all right, you get 10% of this, 90% of it's not going to you. Okay.
Which is sad.
So every time I buy something from you, that's a chocolate bar and nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, John Dory is a fish. Iced Vovo. What is that?
Oh yeah, they're like a
ice cream?
I think you would call them a cookie. We would call them a biscuit. But
oh,
it's
they
like,
look cute. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like little drops of pink and white icing with coconut.
Is there ice cream in it?
On a sweet biscuit. No, they're like a biscuit. They're like this big.
Okay.
My brother once ate an entire packet in one day.
Intense. Barbecue.
Hideously constipated.
Oh no. Barbecued snags. What is that?
A snag is a sausage.
I love sausage. You know what? I might get that.
Okay, here's why you are the superior Australian. I'm the superior Slav. Right.
Okay, yeah.
In Australia, they will spontaneously announce, "We're gonna have a sausage sizzle," and they'll just be sausages like on the street.
That's my dream life.
You'll just be wandering around. Something's like, "What's that smell?" I was like, "Yeah, we're having a sausage sizzle," and you'll walk over, and there'll just be like a tent full of sausages.
Can I get some? Is it for everyone?
Yes.
Can I buy some?
Yeah.
I'm moving to Australia.
The hardware
sounds
store.
amazing.
The hardware store like that I go to, it's like 10 minutes walk away. Very frequently, they have sausage sizzles in the car park.
Okay.
I'll just walk in there and just the smell of sausages.
Oh my god.
I don't get any.
You should get me some.
I used to operate the school sausage sizzle.
Oh, that's cool.
Because we had it was my way of getting out of playing sport.
Oh, that's good.
Because when it was sport time, there had to be someone operating the like. It was basically just like had a big barbecue grill thing, and it was someone's job to keep the sausages like not burned and serve them. So I just volunteered to do that to get out of playing sport. It was great.
Okay. So I'm just gonna scroll through this list real quick because you gotta go to sleep. And the top 3 are, or let's do top 5. Crab sticks. Number 5 is crab sticks. Okay. Number 4 is fantails.
Fantails are they're like a hunk of caramel with chocolate around it, but then they're called fantails because the wrappers have movie star trivia on them. So so it's like
cute.
fan thing. See it, and it's like, oh look, it's a biography of like Colin Farrell or something.
That's very cute.
I don't eat them.
Thank you. Number 3, chicken and corn soup. That sounds good.
You say so.
Number 2, green chicken curry pie. Oh, that also sounds good. And number 1 is hamburger with beetroot. It's kind of anticlimactic.
Did they mention Chico rolls at all?
Let me see.
The
How do you
Chico
spell
roll
Chico?
is fast. That's a very good question.
Yeah, number 15, Chico roll.
Okay, so the Chico roll is it's called that because it was initially sold as the chicken roll, and they had to change it because it does not contain chicken. The Chico roll is a giant spring roll, like the size of a hot dog, and it's just full of egg and cabbage.
Uh-huh.
And it was sold. It's like street food, and it gets sold at like sporting events and stuff. And it was sold as the chicken roll because if you kind of tastes a bit like chicken, but there's no chicken in it.
Uh-huh.
It's egg and cabbage. But because it's egg and cabbage, I actually have them semi-frequently. Like when I'm like out and I find them at like.
Very cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it's decided you're gonna get Japanese slippers and the poutine. Tell
There's
me
a place
when.
that sells poutine.
I know, but tell me when so that I can prepare some sausages. What's an
Oh,
Australian drink? I could also have some Japanese slipper. It's universal.
Japanese slipper is Australian. It was made in Melbourne.
Midori.
The Japanese slipper was made in Melbourne in 1984, which is also when and where I was made. So,
That's
one of us
amazing.
augured the other's birth. I don't know which happened first.
Holy moly! Okay, so we'll have Japanese slippers, and you will have a poutine, and I'll have some sausage, and it's gonna be cool.
I'll have some Dr. Pepper.
You'll have some Dr. Pepper. You know, Dr. Pepper is more expensive than like gold in Australia.
I'll make a sacrifice for you.
Oh, that's so sweet. All right, I guess that's it.
My
for the...
friend came over,
Yes.
and he brought me he said, oh yeah, I bought a slab of Dr. Pepper for the Super Bowl, and he had some, he's like, I'll give the rest to you. Because it's like valuable. He's like, yeah, I thought I'd share it around because it was a big investment. And it was just like this slab of that probably cost about $5 in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess that's
Oh,
it.
yeah. Imagine Bungalow points out.
Yes,
So
yeah.
Foster's, right?
Mhm.
Foster's is a brand of Australian beer that is sold outside of Australia as the beer that Australians drink.
That's complicated.
But no one in Australia likes Foster's.
Oh.
It's really looked down upon as like this like shit beer that's successful because they lie and say that we drink it.
Really? That's
Yeah, it's
mean.
really disliked. There's like a lot of anti-Foster sentiment. I don't
That's
drink
mean.
beer at all, so I get out of it.
Yeah, I don't like beer. I don't get it.
I'm a true
Does
gamer.
anybody like beer?
I'm drinking sugar-free
Oh my God.
Agrum citrus blend.
Of course. True gamer.
Surprising nobody. I'm not drinking hard liquor.
Hi, Doom
Oh,
Kitty.
hey, Doom Kitty too. We're just wrapping up. I'm sorry.
No, it's Doom who was late. Hi. Alright, I guess, got chores to do. And then maybe I'll stream something later. Are you going to sleep?
Yeah.
That's good.
I should, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, Richie, do the outro.
That was Richie and Sin Bloodborne AMA Part 11. The 3 weeks that Sin has arbitrarily decided is our birthday. I don't think we answered very many questions, but it was mostly about crab.
And if people want to find more content,
Well, if you're on this channel on YouTube, probably down the side there's a whole lot of other
Yeah.
videos we've done.
yeah, there's some Eye Hunt,
Yeah.
some Vampire. No Bloodborne though. We're a tabletop RPG channel now.
Sure.
Warhammer,
Sure.
cryptids,
Sure.
anime. Don't forget to watch the anime I sent you, because we're doing a podcast with someone on the 4th for their channel. Don't embarrass me. This is not Ashes of Ariandel. You can't fake your way through this one.
Can I, though?
Mm.
Can I?
Good night, everyone. Bye.